Yan Wudao's expression was one of crushing defeat. He immediately sensed the tyrannical earth rank of Li Xiangfei, the #1 general upon the seas. He did not dare face it and could only watch helplessly as he was so close to Lu Xiao yet unable to kill her. If he killed her, he himself would end up dying as well. Yan Wudao could not take this risk. Zhang Biluo's star beast green bird used its gods appear devils vanish. But it was too late. After an enormous crash, the entire island was already devoured and leveled by the ocean. Lu Xiao's star river dragon horse was killed by the water, and Zhang Biluo was unable to evade, being struck down into the star nest. This smart and proud featherless arrow had still been able to display her formidable concealed weapon's ability to dominate everyone present before being defeated like this. Fortunately, Yan Wudao's escape techniques were high level, but he still received some effect to his magic energy. His chest hurt terribly, and he vomited blood. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demons saw Li Xiangfei use Fury of the Ocean and was elated. Everyone only thought that Li Xiangfei had killed Lu Xiao, with secret regret in their hearts. Shi Yu was even more incomparably pale. But when the wind and waves passed, they nevertheless discovered Lu Xiao to be unscathed. The Strength Star sat atop a hill, in a state of deep dreams that was unaffected by external disturbance. Shi Yu originally thought that Chai Ling had used her final red ink iron certificate to save Lu Xiao, but upon careful inspection, this was not the case. There was a shield above Lu Xiao. It emitted earthly qi that surrounded Lu Xiao. That unparalleled earth magic was surprisingly not devoured. Li Xiangfei did not dare believe this as she looked to Shi Jingluan. This was Shi Jingluan's star weapon Earth Dragon Shield. Dark rank. Lofty 5 sacred mountains. Generally speaking, even if Shi Jingluan's Earth Dragon Shield was 4-star, her dark rank could not possibly stop Li Xiangfei's strongest fury of the ocean, but Shi Jingluan was currently activating all 9 of her Crimson Dragon tattoos. Unexpectedly, all 9 dragon tattoos were completely displayed. Her realm and star energy had astonishingly rose to true Phoenix 4th or 5th stage. This little dark rank naturally could then be blocked. You're surprisingly do such a thing. Li Xiangfei did not dare believe that 9 tattooed dragons was unexpectedly damage her own realm and star energy to use the 9 tattooed dragons' innate skill. Even Shi Yu was quite astonished. It appeared this minute star 9 tattooed dragons truly wanted to save Lu Xiao. The time that Shi Jingluan could use her innate skill was very short. After she blocked this earth rank, she left no gaps. The minute star's expression was ice cold, a plan already in her mind. She had already activated her 9 tattooed dragons' innate skill. Surely, that jade Qilin Lu Xiao was a logical person and would believe in her sincerity in saving her. Even if Su Xing's wife was present, this favor was still greatest to her, the 9 tattooed dragons. Shi Jingluan swung her staff, smashing Li Xiangfei in the stomach. Li Xiangfei beckoned with her hand, commanding Dragon Ling Kiss to attack. During Fury of the Ocean, Shi Jingluan's star beast had been entangled by Dragon Ling Kiss and was unable to avoid misfortune. Even if the first earth rank did not succeed, she would not be so lucky the second time. Seeing Lu Xiao's defense break, the situation was even more precarious. Suddenly at this moment, 5 strange summoning circles appeared around the ocean. These purple magic circles changed, and then a star beast appeared from each one. What? Star River Qilin. Dragonling Kiss. Guanghan Red Hair. Turbid Seas Dragon King. New Heavenly Phoenix. 5 of the strongest star beasts each appeared from an array, making everyone who had been shocked before choke once again. Far away, Huangfu Yuyun finally blew into her flute, awakening the slumbering star beasts. Li Xiangfei's heart suddenly sank, and she glared at Shi Jingluan with an increasingly unsightly expression. When Yan Wudao saw this, he muttered to himself that the 9 Dragons Palace's master was sinister and cunning indeed, to have surprisingly waited until after Li Xiangfei used her earth rank to allow the summon of these star beasts. If it was done before, they would have completely been destroyed by Fury of the Ocean. However, to summon so many star beasts, this was quite overkill. While Yan Wudao operated his flying swords, he searched for a way to handle Lu Xiao. This strength star's star energy was honestly too valuable to lose. Ah! Ancestor 4 Evils was killed by Shiyu's clinging fire. Shiyu naturally was completely able to handle this super void early stage cultivator. The remaining 3 great law protectors, other than Fiend's star, were cunning old foxes. Upon seeing the situation become so chaotic, they thought to themselves that this was troublesome. Su Shengxiang, there is still time if we hurry and use the yin-yang strange qi right now. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon was very worried. Seeing the situation deteriorate, he hastily called out to Su Shengxiang, but with a far better manner. This woman hid so deeply, he would bother her when they returned, but for now, they needed to unite. Lord Husband, your servant has a solution, please be careful. Su Shengxiang smiled and said. She was in no mood to use some yin-yang strange qi. The girl's divine intent moved. No longer heeding him, she opened the 10,000 souls parasol. A black parasol appeared in the girl's palm. The moment Su Shengxiang's rosy hands took hold of the parasol's grip, devil qi erupted. The girl opened the parasol, and suddenly, 10,000 ghosts roared out. In a split second, the area sunk into extreme darkness. Surprisingly, it was impossible to even see one's hand. Ah, what is this? The Holy Lord of Draconic Demons shouted in fright. Even Li Xiangfei was stunned. Just what is this girl's background? Shi Jingluan had never been so grim. The 9 Dragons Palace had actually investigated Su Shengxiang. The information she obtained was the same as the Devil Star Palace knew. She was a scattered cultivator of only average strength. But she never imagined in this battle for the Qilin, this woman would use Shaqing abilities again and again. These tricks that emerged in succession was in the style of the Purple Thunder monster. If Shiyu was not present, Shi Jingluan and the others would have wondered whether or not she was the Purple Thunder monster's woman. 10,000 ghosts and thousands of rays of black qi blanketed the entire area. The 5 great star beasts were practically entangled by the black qi without resistance. More black qi attacked the rest of them. Careful, this is the 10,000 souls parasol. Lu Tianya's complexion was pale. How does this Su Shengxiang have the magic weapon that old monster Dark Rebirth was so proud of? Elder Dried Bone was astonished. The 10,000 souls parasol was forged using 10,000 souls. When the demonic parasol emerged, it created a shocking world of demonic qi that could blot out the sun. In this world of demonic qi, all magic weapons in the vicinity would be corroded, and the spirits that rushed out would attack without any openings, killing without pause. If it was not for this battle to take the Jade Qilin, everyone would have been deceived by this seductive woman. While the outsiders were fighting in intense chaos, Lu Xiao was. Lu Xiao was fighting a great battle against Shi Wengong in her dream. Although she already sensed the danger on the outside, with Liner falling into her star nest, she could only grit her teeth for the sake of this former volume Heavenly Book. The previous Heavenly Stars never obtained it. So long as she had even a bit of hope, Lu Xiao did not want to give up. But looking at the overbearing woman in front of her, she truly felt powerless. The golden helmet on her head reflected brilliant sunlight while her body was clad in armor that surpassed snow. The woman stood coldly atop a palace, her bow and arrow in her hand having already become a sky piercer. Although she had finally succeeded in making sure Wengong give up of that powerful archery of hers, she never imagined that this sky piercer would be so formidable. Lu Xiao was already gasping for breath. If she had not ingested the 1,000-year tears, there was no way she could have lasted so long. Now, she finally somewhat understood why the Jade Qilins of the past were unable to comprehend the former volume Heavenly Books, why they perished comprehending the middle volume. To take such a long time to comprehend, she would long have been detected by some star master. Even if Shower died, she must obtain this Heavenly Book at all costs. Lu Xiao knew that if she did not obtain the former volume Heavenly Book for these star duels, the Jade Qilin would have no room to stand on. Carrying a mentality that death was preferable to dishonor, Lu Xiao was determined to not leave. Shi Wengong walked with heavy footsteps, cracking the palace's blue roof tiles as she stepped. She was like a god, her domineering baleful aura swift and severe under the sunlight. Lu Xiao grit her teeth and charged with golden Qilin lance in hand. The lance crossed the sky-piercer halberd, and a heavy force nearly shattered Lu Xiao's arm. The girl flew upwards. The golden Qilin lance released a ray of golden light. The pebbles along the ground soared upwards with the jade Qilin's tyrannical killing intent, falling like sparks. But Shi Wengong flicked her sky-piercer, letting out silvery white killing intent, reducing all of Lu Xiao's attacks to nothing. She strode forward, a seemingly leisurely pace, yet she arrived in front of Lu Xiao in a single step. Lu Xiao only felt that this was very fast and hastily used her elbow to strike. The girl's reactions were swift. Although the intense battle was exhausting, she had significantly increased her realm. Jade Qilin stepped on Shi Wengong's arm, and then using it as a fulcrum, she leapt into the air, the golden Qilin lance once again descending. Shi Wengong raised her own weapon to catch it. Dazzling sparks flew from the collision of the weapons, instantly already trading 100 blows. Hey! A horizontal slash passed, and Lu Xiao was too late to avoid it, being sent flying by this attack. The girl's step was swift as the wind. She raised the sky-piercer and brandished an attack, her heavy aura bearing down like Mount Tai. Rebellious killing intent firmly pinned the jade Qilin. How could she possibly concede defeat in this place? Lu Xiao bit her lip and rolled along the ground. Boom! The sky-piercer's might lifted the girl from the ground. Shi Wengong once again hacked, sending Lu Xiao flying again. The wounds on her body were already unable to be bore by Lu Xiao's consciousness. Her lucidity was already a matter of time. If you insist on not leaving, you will be killed by someone. The woman spoke, coldly warning. Just not me. I will die. Lu Xiao smiled. That man has become so strong. If Lu Xiao does not become stronger, this simply cannot do. Lu Xiao took a deep breath. Her star energy was already depleted. Even so, she would use every last bit of power she had. Even if she was unable to obtain the Heavenly Book, even one more second of combat training in the Heavenly Book dream was well worth it. That man? Shi Wengong wrinkled her brow. Your Star Master. Star Master, huh, forget about it. Lu Xiao was disappointed and frustrated. The girl nodded, stiffly saying, It has already been a very long time. I am also weary. Since this is so, if you can survive my next strike, Earth rank, absolute end, then you can take this Heavenly Book. Bring it on. Lu Xiao once again tightened her grip on the lance. Thus, after Shi Jingluan's careful planning, the Devil's Star Palace was already mostly spent. The 4 great law protectors could not possibly handle the 9 dragons' palace. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon was somewhat unreconciled and was prepared to flee, but just at this moment, no one expected that Su Xingxiang would open the 10,000 souls parasol. Yan Wudao used his jade pendant to flee without a second thought. Li Shuangfei, Sun Xinyue, and the other girls were already entangled by the 10,000 souls. Even Shi Jingluan's expression changed. The situation was in a crisis. Shiyu used her clinging fire to thoroughly protect herself. She continuously urged the clinging fire to flow through Lu Xiao's surroundings, slaying the ghosts. The jade Qilin Lu Xiao that others wanted nothing more than to kill was protected by 11 Yu, who could easily kill her right now. This made the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon and Su Xingxiang endlessly shocked. Lord Husband. Su Xingxiang said. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon was very unreconciled, yet he understood tacitly. He raised the boundless bell. Shiyu saw that this was bad. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon sneered, Even if we cannot kill Lu Xiao, we can kill you first. The bell rang. The clinging fire was extinguished. The 10,000 souls attacked. Liked it? The originally weak Holy Lord of Draconic Demon and Su Xingxiang worked together, one using the Boundless Bell and the other using the 10,000 Souls Parasol. The two super magic weapons suddenly turned the situation around. Xiyu unleashed all of her magic energy, shielding herself with the coiling dragon wall. On the other side, Shi Jingluan's star generals were out of luck. The tens of thousands of ghosts attacked endlessly. Li Shuangfei, Sun Xinyue, Gu Tong and the others could barely resist with their star weapons, but this 10,000 souls Parasol's revenants were honestly formidable. Caught in the middle of devil qi, their bodies were being corroded bit by bit, their star energy continuously draining. Su Xingxiang's expression concentrated, again urging on her sword chant. Tens of thousands of swords twisted towards Lu Xiao. Just at this moment, countless black butterflies flew out from empty space. These butterflies were completely black in color, even more dim than the 10,000 souls devil qi. Those butterflies shook with sword light. Astonishingly, each and every one of them was formed from a flying sword. These flying swords clashed with the great heavenly cycle little dark star flying swords. The black butterflies fluttered, surprisingly stopping them. This sudden change once again shocked everyone. Great Saint Starkiller recognized these swords. Hell Fantasy Death Butterfly Flying Swords. These flying swords were originally Ming Dai's flying swords. To take the jade Qilin, how could your servant miss such a good thing? A cold woman intruded into this devil qi world of the 10,000 souls Parasol. Her golden palace dress and silken clothes fluttered. Who else could she be? Sword Star, Wan Jiner. Wan Jiner sneered. Her hand then beckoned, and the space behind her suddenly revealed a myriad of tens of thousands of flying swords. Everyone was dumbstruck. The flying swords behind Wan Jiner were every kind of flying sword that the three Ruan's water fort had collected. Her innate skill was sword chant, allowing her to control flying swords with greater ease than a cultivator could. The 10,000 flying swords became a boundless sword array in her hands. That biting cold sword qi directly gave them chills all over. Wan Jiner, protect Lu Xiao. Shi Jingluan sternly shouted, fearing that this deranged sword star would want to kill Lu Xiao for her star energy. It had to be said that even if these star generals that were without star masters were to obtain the strength star's star energy, it would not prove very useful to them. After all, this generation had the outrageous Holy Lord of Draconic Demon. He already could not be faced directly. To seize victory, the only way was to obtain Lu Xiao's help. Although the three Ruan's water fort were continually stubborn in not joining the uprising, but Shi Jingluan was already confident they would inevitably stand with Qingci. With Ruan Pinger's death, they had lost one of the three sisters. Their only chance to resurrect her was to scale Maiden Mountain and make a wish. Shi Jingluan did not believe that Wan Jiner would be so stupid as to sabotage her own escape route. As expected, Sword Star Tai Sui who stands his ground Wan Jiner coldly glared at her, but she nevertheless used her thousands of devil swords to defend Lu Xiao. The heavenly cycle-changing holy swords. Wan Jiner abruptly spotted Great Saint Starkiller's flying swords. Her heart immediately flared with rage. Wan Pinger's death made Wan Jiner hate the Devil Star Palace to the bone. Now, upon encountering the Devil Star Palace today, the Sword Star would show no mercy. Hey! Wan Jiner flung her azure sea green duckweed. She used duckweed are broken. Green light twisted towards him. Great Saint Starkiller was surprised, but Wan Jiner's azure sea green duckweed was 5-star. She also had her heavenly book, and her realm was close to true phoenix. This dark technique had ample might. The green rainbow descended before Great Saint Starkiller in but an instant. Green light flowed. It tore off Fiend Star's black mantle. As expected, Great Saint Starkiller's handsome face was revealed. Great Saint Starkiller's expression changed. Although he was one of the 4 great law protectors with cultivation at Supervoid middle stage, he did not have protective magics, which was a serious problem. In a panic, Great Saint Starkiller gathered the changing holy swords, finally barely resisting this dark technique. Great Saint Starkiller promptly planned to flee upon seeing the unfavorable situation. Without Guanyin, he was already no longer that Great Saint Starkiller who inspired fear. Xuannü would never let him escape. The azure sea green duckweed once again attacked, striking Great Saint Starkiller's body. The green light pierced through, and Great Saint Starkiller screamed in pain. He immediately used his flying swords to attack. Xiyu knew that he was Su Xing's nemesis. At this moment, she also wanted to be rid of him so as to avoid him becoming a problem. The girl's clinging fire surged once more. The divine bird Vermilion Jian manifested behind her, its spiritual power fully displayed. The girl turned into a ray of magnificent red light that shot towards Great Saint Starkiller. The girl's palm was like a flame, a fluttering spirit bird. This was the Vermilion Bird Clinging Fire's technique, Vermilion Bird Palm. She pushed the Vermilion Bird Palm outwards, and a Vermilion Bird burst out of her body, fiercely launching itself towards Great Saint Starkiller. He hastily activated Devil Light to protect his body. The two of them were similar in cultivation. Great Saint Starkiller's Devil Light and the Vermilion Bird Clinging Fire clashed surprisingly on even footing. But Great Saint Starkiller did not face only Xiyu. There was also the Xuannü who despised him. The sword star threw another azure sea green duckweed. Green light twisted and entangled Great Saint Starkiller. He struggled with all his might, but in the end, Zhang Feiyu thrust her sword into him. He powerlessly returned to the heavens. How can this be? How did this Great Saint Starkiller looked at the saber that had cut into his body, not daring to believe this. Worthy of his title as the Black Turtle Territory's famous Fiend's Star, he firmly grasped Zhang Feiyu's blade and twisted his gaze towards the girl. Those red, gem-like eyes suddenly brought him back to a bygone memory. Inger, he shouted, full of regret. If you think that we are your tools, then you must pay the price. Zhang Feiyu sneered. A fire tree silver flower killed Great Saint Starkiller. The insufferably arrogant Star Master's life finally ended in such a sorry manner. The Devil Star Palace's remaining two great law protectors Elder Dried Bone and Corpse Demon Ruthlessness both changed expressions. With the Sword Star and Xiyu acting at once, they had no way to protect Great Saint Starkiller's life. They stared helplessly as Great Saint Starkiller died, only able to be concerned with themselves for now. Without brave Star Guaning, this Great Saint Starkiller was practically a cripple. He ought to have fallen like this. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon inwardly sneered, not in the slightest bit distressed. In fact, he long wanted to kill Great Saint Starkiller. To think this guy had once been overbearing to him, and then to die like this was a disservice to him. We must leave now. Corpse Demon Ruthlessness and Elder Dried Bone called out at this time, not hesitating to use their abilities in preparation of fleeing. The Sword Star and Shi Jingluan snorted. This battle for the Qilin was considered a complete defeat. Su Xingxiang nevertheless was not reconciled to this, as was the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon. To be so close to being able to kill Lu Shao, his heart was endlessly resentful. Devil Star Palace, you will all die here. Xuannü laughed. 10,000 flying swords attacked all at once. Sword intent that flooded the heavens froze everything. Sword Star, do not be arrogant. Elder Dried Bone shouted. His white bone flying swords formed into white bone stakes. Amidst the devil chi, they released chilling lights. Corpse Demon Ruthlessness also summoned 4 flying heavenly corpse demons. These corpse demons were refined by Corpse Demon Ruthlessness using supervoid cultivators. Their power was incomparably surly, impervious to spear and blade. Any action they took was with immense force. The 4 great flying heavenly corpse demons emerged and wildly attacked the Sword Star's flying swords. The 10,000 flying swords were surprisingly clawed to pieces. When Corpse Demon Ruthlessness saw they still had a chance, he was inwardly overjoyed. He immediately activated the Ruthless Corpse chant. His body swelled, and magic energy gathered all over his body. Corpse Demon Ruthlessness raised a pale white bell. This little bell was called the Corpse Bell. He rang it, and the bodies of those 4 great flying heavenly corpse demons shook. Their hollow eyes immediately glowed with frightening light, as if each and every one of them had come to life. And the dead cultivators also emerged from their rigor mortis. Their powers became even stronger, clawing at Xuannü without any delay. But Xuannü still had her earth rank. Tai Sui, who stands his ground, disdainfully smiled and pointed her hand. That azure sea-green duckweed drew countless rays of green qi that immediately scattered. Corpse demon ruthlessness expression changed. Those rays of qi approached suddenly, instantly wrapping around the bodies of the 4 great corpse demons, and subsequently destroying the summoned juncture. The bodies of the 4 great corpse demons released green leaves, suddenly stiffened into immobility. Corpse demon ruthlessness immediately wanted to flee, but it was too late. All of the released green qi gathered onto corpse demon ruthlessness' body, like endless duckweed encroaching his whole body. This man only felt his powerful defensive body of corpse qi was completely unable to resist. His skin was covered in duckweed, and he was instantly covered from head to toe. Then, he disappeared along with the green duckweed. Corpse demon ruthlessness was suddenly destroyed, leaving no trace behind. Earth rank. Shui in a flash. Xuannü killed corpse demon ruthlessness and wanted to kill elder dried bone as well, but at this time, the old man had already very shrewdly left this area. Xuannü sneered but did not give chase, as if she felt that elder dried bone had already become a pile of white bones. Young master, please go. The Li Xiangfei, who had used her earth rank, could not bear Shi Jingluan's continuous assault, shouting. Xiangfei, cover me. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demons' expression twisted, rushing dauntless towards Lu Xiao, prepared to kill her. Li Xiangfei understood and immediately used her body as a shield. She wielded her white knight dragon carving sword to block all attacks. Not long after, Li Xiangfei was killed into the star nest. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon relied on Li Xiangfei's protection to finally once again reach Lu Xiao. Already, there was no one who could stop him. When Su Xingxiang saw, she gathered the souls of the 10,000 souls Parasol to protect the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon, seemingly to help him kill Qilin. Seeing that he could not be stopped, Shi Yu and Shi Jingluan panicked. Not good. Su Xingxiang suddenly shouted, "Look out!" The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon already had enough of caution, mistakes, mishaps, and surprises today. Seeing the Jade Qilin in front of him, he would absolutely kill her today. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon did not heed Su Xingxiang's warning, making the girl inwardly curse. Heavenly Demon Claw. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon swung his palm down on Lu Xiao's head. When this attack landed, Jade Qilin's figure nevertheless strangely vanished from his view. What? The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon was astonished. Suddenly, he sensed enormous power. Lifting his head to look, Jade Qilin Lu Xiao had already awakened. Those eyes gave the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon chills. Hey! Lu Xiao thrust out her lance. The speed of her blow was instantaneous, not something the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon could block. Having been stabbed by the lance, the Holy Lord of Draconic screamed. Then, he was flung away by Lu Xiao. Xiao never thought this place could be discovered. Wonder whether the Devil Star Palace's eyes are too numerous or Xiao's luck is too bad. The Lu Xiao who awakened from her heavenly book was like a divine soldier, full of a formidable might. Shi Jingluan finally sighed in relief, the corner of her lips curling into a smile. Ha, Jade Qilin, your luck is honestly too good. Xingxiang is truly impressed. Su Xingxiang slightly smiled and answered her. Liked it? Su Xingxiang simply felt that Strength Star Jade Qilin's luck was unbelievably good. The Devil Star Palace, 3 Wands Water Fort, the 9 Dragons Palace, and the Purple Thunder Monsters woman had come to either save or kill her, but the latter 3 surprisingly all played the role of Star Master, protecting her. If she herself wanted to kill, stopping her from obtaining the Strength Star's star energy would have been enough, but Shi Jingluan even activated all of her 9 dragon tattoos. That Purple Thunder monster was so close, yet she did nothing to the Strength Star. Finally, the Xuannü whose earth rank seized a decisive advantage could settle everything, but all 3 women chose to protect her. This was unimaginable. As the strongest martial general, to not kill her right now, could they be waiting for her to mature? Su Xingxiang felt they were either insane or perhaps they had fallen under the peculiar influence of the purple thunder monster. Otherwise, Su Xingxiang honestly could not find a reason for them to let Lu Xiao off. As for their so-called sisterly sentiments, Su Xingxiang would never naively believe this was the reason. Seeing Lu Xiao had already awakened from her heavenly book dream and that the Devil Star Palace had thoroughly lost, Su Xingxiang knew they had already lost their momentum. She grabbed the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon, withdrawing without a second thought. Although Wang Jiner and Shi Jingluan wanted to kill her, those great heavenly cycle little dark star flying swords were not so easy to handle. They could only give up. Lu Xiao did not give chase either. In actuality, she had only just awakened from her heavenly book dream. This awakening was like emerging from nearly drowning. In the last trial, Shi Wengong's earth rank, absolute end, left Lu Xiao without any strength to retaliate. She used her last bit of consciousness to finally obtain her heavenly book, but she did not have much energy to pursue. If Su Xingxiang and the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon were to come back and kill her this instant, Lu Xiao could only flee. Sisters, many thanks for your assistance. Shower is grateful. Lu Xiao cupped her fist to everyone. This incident was somewhat mysterious. She was sure that the place she found ought to have been undetectable. The present gathering of everyone perhaps was not so simple as a coincidence. However, Lu Xiao was loath to think about it. Right now, she only wanted to find a place to refine the very first former volume heavenly book of the strength star in history. She would worry later about what the future held. Elder sister Lu Xiao, as long as you are all right. Shi Jingluan said with concern. Zhang Jingji also interjected, the queen even activated her 9 dragon tattoos for elder sister's sake. Elder sister, we but truly care about you. Thank you, Shower will never forget this. Lu Xiao smiled, also thanking Wang Jiner. Since we are sisters, this much is nothing. But that Star Master, she is harboring an ulterior motive. I ask elder sister worry about herself a bit more. Wang Jiner indicated. Everyone's gazes fell onto Shiyu. According to common sense, this was supposed to be the perfect moment for the Uprising team to fight a Star Master. Sword Star Wang Jiner ought to immediately take action to at least shoo Shiyu off, but the girl's status was honestly very special. She was somewhat friendly with Gu Tong, so Shi Jingluan could not easily make a move. And when Wang Jiner saw that Lu Xiao was also very friendly to Shiyu, she retracted her murderous intent for the time being. Lu Xiao did not want to refute her words at all either. She said to Shiyu, he didn't come. Sir did not come. Shiyu at first wanted to remind Lu Xiao that this incident was somewhat odd. Her whereabouts had only been leaked over just these past few days, but the dissemination was extremely fast, spreading through the Endless Sea, the Black Turtle Sea, the Nine Dragon Sea, etc., practically the entire Black Turtle territory. The Black Turtle territory's information network was not as developed as the Azure Dragons. The seas, mountains, and islands were all obstructions, each practically separate from one another, but the diffusion of information was flawless. No one was creating any impediments at all. However, believing that Lu Xiao was smart, she would return, carefully ponder, and be able to understand the truth of the matter. And there was no meaning in speaking about this. On the contrary, she would make her feel repulsed. After all, whether it was the 9 Dragons Palace or the 3 Wands Water Fort, they indeed sincerely wanted to protect Lu Xiao. She was unable to refute this. The Devil Star Palace has lost 3 of its great law protectors. A pity we were unable to have all 4 of them die here. Shi Jingluan said regretfully. Wang Jiner sneered, Jingluan, no need for you feel regret. Maya will naturally take care of that elder dried bone. Never thought that Fort Master Jiner already had a backup plan. Today, the Devil Star Palace will lose its 4 great law protectors. In the future, they will perhaps make things difficult for the 9 Dragons Palace and the Water Fort. It would be better for us to directly assault the Devil Star Palace together, to level the Devil Star Palace today. Xuannü cupped her first towards Shi Jingluan and Lu Xiao, earnestly speaking. Shi Jingluan thought for a moment. What Xuannü said was somewhat sensible. The current Devil Star Palace had drastically decreased power. This was the most opportune time to get rid of the scourge. But that devil ancestor Dark Nether was unfathomable. Reportedly, he was already at Transforming Star of Annihilation, a cultivation that honestly made 9 tattooed dragons somewhat fearful. Lu Xiao rolled her eyes. Right now, she was in no mood to join either of the two powers. Just as the Jade Qilin was about to decline, all of a sudden, Shiyu's expression changed. She gazed in the direction Elder Dried Bone ran in. That devil ancestor has already left seclusion. What? Elder Dried Bone endlessly used the white bone escape technique. He turned his head back to look and finally could no longer see those star generals. The old man was greatly relieved, sinisterly smiling. Sure Jean, one shower. Just wait until you climb Maiden Mountain, I will avenge this humiliation. Humph. Just as he thought this, he suddenly spotted a girl standing on the sea up ahead. Her hands flipped through a picture book, her gaze not turning away from it, as if she had forgotten her surroundings. Living King Yama Ruan Xiaoqi. Elder Dried Bone recognized the identity of this girl. The old man hesitated on what he should do when he saw the little girl's expression as she earnestly read her book. Kill her for revenge, or wisely let her go to save his own skin. Before Elder Dried Bone's hesitance could end in a decision, the little girl nevertheless took action as if she had already been waiting a long time. More than 303 Ruan's water fort cultivators jumped out of the ocean, a banner waving in each of their hands. A large formation immediately appeared. Then, flying swords, magic weapons, and artifacts all furiously attacked. Elder Dried Bone immediately released his Supervoid middle stage power, shaking loose these feeble abilities. Instantly, he decided on revenge, but in one move, the 3 Ruan's water fort's cultivators had already assembled an array. A water chain rose from the ocean, shackling Elder Dried Bone's hands and legs. Stupid tricks. Elder Dried Bone was infuriated. Suddenly, he saw Xuannü had set down her picture book. She raised her hand, and a cold light immediately enlarged before his eyes. Elder Dried Bone screamed in his heart, promptly struggling to break free, but this was nevertheless Xuannü's earth rank, overlooking view of hell. That light drilled into Elder Dried Bone's chest, his protective ability surprisingly unable to stop it. Elder Dried Bone immediately activated the Dried Heart art, but at this moment, his eyes were dazzled. The defeat star was already in front of him. The girl was still expressionless, the Dragon King club in her hand stabbing into Elder Dried Bone's heart. A yellow rank, Dragon King roar, fired at the same time. Elder Dried Bone only felt a storm tear through his chest. The old man looked in shock at this apathetic girl. He was killed without so much as being able to say a word. After killing the Devil Star Palace's last law protector, Xuannü continued to read her picture book. At this moment, she spotted Xuannü, Shi Jingluan, and the others flying towards her. Just as Xuannü was about to go meet them, a sudden change occurred. A terrifying aura came from behind her. Xuannü whirled around, her mask-like face showing surprise. Look out! Xuannü's voice came over. Xuannü promptly brought out her Dragon King stake. A golden light attacked her. That golden light was incomparably strange, falling onto Xuannü. The girl felt a brief moment of heaviness preventing her from moving. This was shockingly first magnetic divine light. That first magnetic divine light firmly pinned Xuannü the moment it fell. Then, countless sword lights that were like dim stars appeared around the girl. Xuannü was valiant, defending with all her might. A shadow appeared next to Mayer, and a black sword light attacked. The body techniques of the Xuannü who was surrounded by the first magnetic divine light were incomparably sluggish, completely unable to resist. She stared helplessly as the sword stabbed into her chest. Xuannü showed a bit of surprise. Then, that shadowy man pulled out his sword, following with a slash. Elder sister, Xuannü could not fight back at all. The picture book fell to the ground. Mayor! Xuannü screamed as she flung the azure sea green duckweed. A green rainbow appeared. That man raised his hand, firing a ray of first magnetic divine light that surprisingly froze the 5-star azure sea green duckweed in place. Xuannü immediately used her 10,000 sword chant, finally breaking away from this man, but when she rescued Xuannü, the girl was already gone. What she held was merely a wisp of her spirit. Defeat star living King Yama had starfallen. You want to destroy my devil star palace, then this ancestor shall destroy you all first. The black chi subsided, revealing a cool and demonic man. His eyes were like swords, completely chilling. He enjoyed Xuannü's star energy and coldly spoke. The aura on that man's body was so reserved, it was practically undetectable, but the more this was the case, the more it instead felt heavy to everyone. This was already beyond Supervoid peak. Transforming star of annihilation. He was none other than Devil Ancestor Dark Nether. Ice Soul Valley. At the same time a stunning and breathtaking war was put on display, the overlord Hu Banzwang of unprecedented might used her powerful martial arts to show the twin titles of prettiest and strongest. Then, she defeated Su Xing's numerous wives, and Lu Shaqing finally emerged from her heavenly book. Double sabers and Lu Shaqing's staff traded blows, each dazzling. Lu Shaqing's every strike was clad in Buddhist light, her power formidable beyond compare. She had monster strength, using her Arhat punch from time to time. Hu Banzwang, who was already at the end of her rope, was completely unable to counter, barely defending. At this time, Zhang Yuqi, Shi Yuan, and Xuannü and Tang Lianxin also rushed out. Although their martial force was not strong, they had plenty of tricks, each stalling Hu Banzwang after another. Weaving passion. Hu Banzwang used these feelings are endless lasso to bind Lu Shaqing's wrists, to first contain her monster strength, then seize an opportunity to kill. Lu Shaqing suddenly stuck her staff into the ground, striking with dark rank mercy. The red rope broke, and Hu Banzwang was sent flying. Then, Lu Shaqing's hand raised the devil's sealing crescent moon Chan staff. The girl's eyes were calm as a well. With a great stride forward, as if she walked on air. Her dark rank mercy could repel the target, and at the same time, it could also instantly heal an extent of her injuries. It could be said to be a beautiful combination. Lu Shaqing's devil's sealing crescent moon Chan technique swept forth, about to take Hu Banzwang down. At this time, Hu Banzwang had been cornered. But the girl did not despair at all. As the seventh, the most stunning, overlord, it could be said that she was the strongest overlord in history to scale Maiden Mountain. Hu Banzwang had one last surprise to give Su Xing. The girl somersaulted in midair, her beautiful figure spry and lively, like flowing water. A star crest appeared on her forehead. Her originally weakened aura once again erupted. Heaven Earth Dark Yellow skill. Su Xing was taken aback. Liked it? At this moment, the scene that appeared in everyone's eyes could only be described as breathtaking, absolute beauty. The entire body of the Hu Banzwang who was nimbly spinning in midair was like water. Her figure was frozen in midair, and another figure appeared that continued the next movement. Each step was like a lifelike afterimage. This was like a moving water painting, each stroke evoking the girl's every elegant movement. The star crest on Hu Banzwang's forehead shimmered, the characteristic of a Heaven Earth Dark Yellow skill. Each Heaven Earth Dark Yellow skill was different. Most of them were triggered by feelings and scenes. They practically required resonance with another person, and some had additional restrictions. For example, Wu Xiao's Heaven Earth Dark Yellow required a kiss from Su Xing first. However, this was irrelevant in the heavenly book Dream. Hu Banzwang's Heaven Earth Dark Yellow was named, Fallen Flowers Drift and Water Flows Away. The so-called, unrequited, this Heaven Earth Dark Yellow skill could be activated without a contractor, and after it ended, it would instead add a Star Master's portion of star energy to herself. Each attack would be more powerful than the last. Hu Banzwang used her last trick. and that she used this signified that if in the end Shaqing did not die, she would be defeated. Lu Shaqing roared, swinging her staff at Hu Banzwang's waist, but let alone that each of Hu Banzwang's movements were all appearing in sequence, upon closer inspection, these were not so simple at all. Lu Shaqing's staff struck, passing through the afterimage. Xuannü used her 5 concealed array, Zhang Yuqi used her wild bee butterfly wave, and Tang Lianxin attacked with the great sun essence butterfly's flames. But Hu Banzwang's figure was like flowing water, each attack movement incomparably clear, a passing afterimage. Unexpectedly, no one could seize her. Then, Hu Banzwang's heaven-earth dark yellow was already behind all of the girls. Several rays of saber qi immediately exploded on Lu Shaqing, Xuannü, Zhang Yuqi, and the others' bodies, defeating them. The final target, Shaqing. The water shadow very quickly arrived in front of him, but Shaqing was unfazed, not even batting an eye. Shaqing, settle this with Banzwang. All of Hu Banzwang's killing intent was focused on her sabers. Come then. Shaqing waved his arms. 48 flying swords drew stunning arcs as they blocked in front of him. The weapons sang again in merriment. This was the first time that Shaqing would wield his sword chant in his trials with Hu Banzwang, and it appeared quite breathtaking. This was the 5th time he would face her in these 10 days, and it would be the last time, too. Hu Banzwang's double sabers slashed with water-like light. Each of her movements was so elegant, gorgeous, and each of her attacks drew beautiful images. The person herself cut countless shadows upon the canvas that was the air. Shaqing did not shrink back at all. His powerful level as well as battle doctrine gave him great familiarity with Hu Banzwang's martial arts. It could be said that out of everyone, he truly could match her. This surprised even Wu Xinjie. Retreating backwards continuously, Hu Banzwang's heaven-earth dark yellow fallen flowers drift and water flows away was like a shadow. This heaven-earth dark yellow skill perhaps would only end when either she or Shaqing died. The two of them began to battle using their swift body techniques. Shaqing's divine intent moved. Heaven tearing spun, cutting apart Hu Banzwang's offense. Jian feather stabbed following this, their clinging fire like sings, unfolding as they pounced. There was the crisp sound of clashing metal. Hu Banzwang's next action was clearly exposed before Shaqing's eyes. The golden wind in her hand slashed with a brilliant saber qi, directly breaking Heaven Tearing's attack. Then, a drizzle slash advanced, countering and extinguishing the clinging fire. Instantly, she was in front of him again. The giant earth element flying swords time immemorial were like a thick dam obstructing her. Her sabers crossed, passing like water. Time immemorial was unable to stop Hu Banzwang's meticulous attack. Shaqing took a step back, and a ray of saber light cut him. The girl's next attack came biting over. Drawing water-carving ice sword array. Close to 100 ice spirit snow soul flying swords flashed and became beautiful ice and jade pillars that suddenly appeared around Hu Banzwang and Shaqing. The jade pillars crossed. Extreme light flashed, and an endless cold wind roared. Gong Kaiwei wanted to freeze Hu Banzwang's movements, but the girl practically ignored this. As easily as blowing off dust, Hu Banzwang broke out of the sword array with Shaqing. Gong Kaiwei grit her teeth, took up tracing snow and swiftly closed in. Zhu Sha at this time also controlled her 5 elements weather banners array to trap Hu Banzwang, but this was also to no avail. In the end, this came down to the man tempered by countless battles to face the strongest overlord. Shaqing was not flustered at all, far more calm than his star generals. This made the Lin Yingmei and others who were originally nervous awkwardly call out for him to be careful. No longer considering a direct battle against the pervasive saber qi, Shaqing displayed his powerful divine consciousness. His immemorial sword chant endlessly clashed against Hu Banzwang's offensive, but Hu Banzwang was very quick. During fallen flowers drift and water flows away, her every move was as precise as a textbook, analyzed perfectly. Her sabers were raised, the 7-star weapon's formidable killing intent flashing a wave of golden light that rolled through the surroundings. Shadows appeared in the air, and the surroundings also suddenly became illusory. This instant sealed Su Xing's escape route. Retreat was certain death. Su Xing was completely different from normal. He plunged into the saber wind with utter abandon, the blade's sharp airflow cutting numerous times into him. A ghastly shower of blood sprinkled, making the spectating wives unable to help but clench their fists tightly. Hu Banzhong's smile was shocked and full of admiration. Her target surprisingly did not evade and instead charged ahead recklessly. Even the experienced Hu Banzhuang could not easily understand why the Star Master would surprisingly be so bold. Since this was the case, then he would pay the price for this audacity. Hu Banzhuang's body techniques were swifter than anyone else's. She was prepared to spin around and cut him down, but she did not expect Su Xing would bloom the meditative mind lotus flower. Buddhist light shot out, and then Purple Fiend attacked. Before the double sabers could return to guard, Su Xing finally stole the initiative on close range against Hu Banzhuang after paying the price of a body covered in injuries. His body spun in midair, displaying Yan Yizhen's boxing. He smashed a fist into Hu Banzhuang's body. Her beautiful figure once again was like water, dodging past Su Xing's attack. This stunned Su Xing. What technique was this? It was too awesome. Hu Banzhuang instantly was behind Su Xing. Without hesitation, she pulled back, and her double sabers suddenly slashed at him. Su Xing clearly heard the ripping sound of the sabers entering his flesh, but this kind of sound was followed by an even more severe attack. Without any time to think, Su Xing now became like a star general. Having fought Hu Banzhuang so many times allowed Su Xing to understand her fighting style. His calm face did not show any panic. The 48 flying swords once again suddenly spun in the air. When they descended, they brought a terrifying whistle. The 4 elements flying swords were all different colors, but their coordination was very skilled. At the same time, Su Xing flipped his wrist over, revealing a short sword, Qilin Destruction. Qilin Destruction brushed past her. Hu Bajhuang's figure was like a screen of water, rippling with indistinct shadows. She immediately vanished from Su Xing's sight. No time to think. It was already impossible to think. Hu Banzhuang once again raised her double sabers, displaying her lifetime of martial arts at its peak. Rays of saber light flickered without end. Her beautifully mysterious body techniques formed countless afterimages, but Hu Banzhuang was increasingly astounded, feeling increasing disbelief. No matter how she attacked, no matter how clever, her double sabers could pierce through Su Xing's defenses. But from start to finish, she was unable to land a fatal blow. Su Xing displayed his own martial arts to the point of perfection. His body and mind used full power to defend. In fact, when Hu Banzhuang arrogantly began to break through all of Su Xing's beauties, Su Xing was not idle at all. He was continuously watching, searching for the strongest martial art of Hu Banzhuang's true Phoenix 7th stage, continuously comparing in his mind the battles he already had with her. His careful observation could not be said to have completely understood Hu Banzhuang's attack rhythm, but at least it allowed Su Xing to have a recognition of her strongest level. If this had been during the trial in the days before, then he would not dare to say that he could defeat Hu Banzhuang, but he would at least have no problem defending for 100 bouts. This was the battle experience his wives nearly used their lives to buy for him. They would not allow him to be defeated. And it was absolutely impossible for him to be defeated. Impossible, impossible, Hu Banzhuang continuously uttered in her heart. Her attacks were losing more and more precision. She finally understood what it meant to have been hoisted by her own petard. Her attacks against Su Xing now seemed to fall into the tempo she had with Su Xing over the past few days of trials. Hu Banzhuang felt increasingly taxed. Her heaven-earth dark yellow skill also began to wane. Hu Banzhuang blossomed an absolutely beautiful smile. All of a sudden, her power plummeted. Her sabers continuously stabbed from every angle, nipping at Su Xing's defenses. Although Hu Banzhuang's heaven-earth dark yellow was very strong, the girl was already an arrow at the end of its flight when she used it. To think of instantly killing Su Xing with it was completely improbable. After a short while of deadlock, Hu Banzhuang finally was somewhat weary. Su Xing retreated backwards, pointing his finger. The meditative mind lotus flower once again bloomed to block the powerful sabers. This time, Su Xing did not retreat. He read an incantation, and then a cloud of purple qi flooded out from behind Su Xing. When Hu Banzhuang entered this purple cloud, the girls' dance of attacks finally ended. The two of them quietly stood facing one another. Purple cloud east approaches. Hu Banzhuang looked at the surrounding purple qi, immediately sensing that this purple cloud seemed to have twisted around her. She waved a saber, cutting open the purple cloud. You have surprisingly learned purple cloud east approaches. N. Su Xing nodded, retracting purple cloud east approaches. Relying on Woming Wankong's demon pellet, he finally cultivated the purple star transforming qi to its great realm. In fact, the purple cloud fully enveloped his body. The 7-star double sabers could not easily attack him. You really do give Banzhuang too many surprises. For this time coming down the mountain, Banzhuang is suddenly reluctant to return. Banzhuang truly wishes to personally have watched you scale the peak. Hu Banzhuang smiled and said. I'm really sorry. Su Xing apologized. He brought out the 7 colors goose feather saber. I'm very grateful for your instruction, and I will carry on this kindness and fulfill your wish for you. His legs moved, and Su Xing directly charged into Hu Banzhuang's chest, the saber stabbing through Hu Banzhuang's body. Hu Banzhuang did not feel the pain. On the contrary, this was the first time she ever wanted to cry. Mist clouded her eyes and immediately vanished. Then that is too great. The Hu Banzhuang who ended her heaven-earth dark yellow powerlessly clasped Su Xing's face and gave a small, alluring smile. Her lips were closed and were drawing closer, as if she was about to kiss him, but just as she was about to kiss Su Xing's lips, Su Xing nevertheless pulled back, leaving this kiss. Hu Banzhuang chuckled, already becoming mist and dissipating from view. Liked it? Young lord. Young master. Lord husband, at last, the 7th overlord dissipated. No one could have imagined this ending. The 7th generation's trial could be said to be beyond harrowing. The tyrannical and stunning overlord Hu Banzhuang not only conquered the 7th star duels relying on outstanding martial arts, she also overcame Su Xing's party. Seeing the danger resolved, Wu Xinjie could safely praise her. This elder sister was truly formidable. Xinjie never thought that young lord could contend against her in the end. And Xuannü was currently in a great rush to heal the sister's injuries. In this battle, Hu Banzhuang alone was able to seriously wound all of Su Xing's star generals. This power made the Su Xing who was already in the 3 heavenly books somewhat fearful. In the end, she seemed like she wanted to kiss young Su. Ai, that really is a pity. If she wasn't a true spirit, young Su might have been a scoundrel again. Zhang Yuqi teased him. Su Xing smiled, am I that bad? It was that last kiss gesture of Hu Banzhuang that was rejected by Su Xing in the end. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to say if the true spirit would dissipate had he actually kissed. However, to make the Hu Banzhuang who had a star master husband kiss another man, this had no faith. Su Xing felt this certainly was a show of unwanted affection. The most beautiful in the world, to not kiss her is truly a pity. Maybe you could have contracted her. Shi Yuan pursed her lips. These words took Su Xing aback. However, remembering that the birth treasure outline said that true spirits could not be conquered, he then shook his head. Zhang Yuqi smiled and said that Su Xing was honestly daring. However, our young Su is truly a ravenous beast, to surprisingly move even the 7th overlord. Hey, Yuqi, aren't you saying that we're beasts as well? Shi Yuan complained. Clearly, Su Xing very charismatically conquered her. Young lord is not a beast. A beast isn't as good as him. Zhang Yuqi giggled. Shi Yuan stared with disdain, this young lady has never seen you slander your own lord husband like this. Everyone smiled. Su Xing accepted their teasing with cold sweat. The relationship you have with your wives is truly very good. Gong Kaiwei gently said from the side. To be able to stay beside so many star generals was not a relaxing matter. On the inside, she definitely was very shocked. This would be an unforgettable story, the girl thought to herself. To work together for a common goal at the critical moment, and to still be able to banter afterwards, Gong Kai-wei could not help but say this was the sort of atmosphere she yearned for. I also want our relationship to be better, Kai-wei. Su Xing smiled and said. Gong Kai-wei blushed, recalling their intimacy in the Ice Heart Cave. She nearly lost her virginity. Thinking carefully, neither she nor Su Xing were lucid. It was a pity that in the lake environment, the atmosphere was just perfect. It was a pity that everything was ruined during the final push. To make Gong Kai-wei do that sort of thing again, she would be too embarrassed. Kai-wei, can you teach me your ice skin jade bone cultivation technique someday? Su Xing knew she was preoccupied and was very understanding of the girl's reservations. Originally, he wanted to say they could cultivate that technique together next time, but he felt these words were too frivolous. He could only change his phrasing out of embarrassment. Gong Kai-wei frowned. Even the ice and snow beauty's frown was very graceful. Su Xing, why didn't you take the chance to kiss that Hu Banzwang in the end? Maybe you could have signed a contract with her. Shi Yuan looked at Hun Yangzi. This could give Hun Yangzi a senior. Tonight, I'll be kissing you. Su Xing glared at her. Shi Yuan stuck out her tongue. Yuaner wants to be kissed all over by young Su. Zhang Yuqi smiled and said. Everyone was in a cold sweat. Shi Yuan proudly puffed out her chest, saying this was the proof of how intimate her relationship with Su Xing was. These words left damaged star Zhang Yuqi with no way to retort. Everyone laughed, bringing relief to the stifling atmosphere from before. After all, the situation a moment ago was honestly too dangerous. To make Su Xing directly face Hu Banzwang's Heaven-Earth Dark Yellow alone, as far as the star generals were concerned, was a very disgraceful thing. Wu Xiao and Lin Yingmei's expression continued to be very heavy. Su Xing walked over to cheer them up. In his words, to be able to exchange blows with an overlord's Heaven-Earth Dark Yellow was very helpful in improving his martial arts. In fact, the current Su Xing was honestly completely self-confident in his own martial arts. However, we are very fortunate that this was not 3 overlords working together. Otherwise, that would be too dangerous. And Xuannü gently said. This sentence once again attracted everyone's apprehension. Su Xing previously was very curious about this. Usually, since Maiden Mountain was scheming on dealing with him, the chance for 3 overlords teaming up was too good to let go, and the only one that faced Su Xing was the 7th. It seemed that the 5th and 6th had died. This made Su Xing very perplexed. Of course, even more confusing was Hu Banzwang's previous trial. If it was not for Hu Banzwang's previous spars, there would be no need to think about the result when facing her Heaven-Earth Dark Yellow at the end. Can it be that Maiden Mountain has encountered an enemy? So it is nurturing Lord Husband, to borrow Lord Husband's hands to root the threat out? Wu Xiao wrinkled her brow. Su Xing nodded, feeling this was a distinct possibility. Of course, there was also the possibility that Maiden Mountain found a conscience and finally discovered that he was in fact a youth showing promise, one who would politely help the elderly cross the street. As a result, it fell in love with him. Ehe. It would be better if we went and asked Chao Gai herself. Wu Xinjie slightly smiled. She gazed at a place in Ice Soul Valley. Chao Gai, are you satisfied this time? A ray of golden light flashed, and Chao Wuhui walked out. The woman was very stern, but she could not conceal the happiness in her heart. Not bad, Su Xing. As expected, you very perfectly inherited Lin Chang's battle doctrine. But this is still not enough, hey. Just what are you planning? If you want to use Su Xing, this young lady will not agree. Shi Yuan angrily said. This one naturally shall give you other calamities. What other tricks do you have up your sleeve? Su Xing said. Chao Wuhui smiled, but right now, you still have problems not yet resolved. What? All of the girls immediately had a feeling of foreboding upon hearing her words. As if their reverse scales had been touched, Lin Yingmei, Wu Xiao, Hua Wanyue, Yan Yizhen, Gong Sun Huang, and the other martial generals immediately entered combat stances. Even if they were already unbearably weak, each of the beauties had auras that did not lose out one bit. Qiao Wuhui smiled and said, "You had better quickly comprehend your heavenly books. This one has not come to trouble you this time." Just as he was perplexed, Su Xing's expression suddenly concentrated. He waved his hand, and a jade mirror appeared. "Young master, what is the matter?" Lin Yingmei asked. "The light-shifting image-switching mirror. Can it be that something happened on Shiyu's side?" Wu Xiao recognized this treasure. The light-switching image-switching mirror was an astral treasure capable of linking two sides, the light-shifting and the image-switching. When the light-shifting mirror was used, the cultivator holding the image-switching mirror could enter from it. Because Su Xing wanted to protect them while they comprehended their heavenly books, he could not leave their side. He left the task of protecting Chai Ling to Shiyu, giving the mirror to Shiyu for use in case they encountered danger. However, Shiyu was a supervoid middle-stage cultivator, and she also refined the soul of the clinging heaven vermilion Jian, obtaining the powers of the immemorial divine bird. It could be said that the people who posed a threat to her in Liangshan continent could be counted on fingers. And if she had to use this, the situation was clearly very bad. "Shiyu is summoning me. Something's happened. Shaqing, you and I will go together." Su Xing did not have time to think. He immediately issued orders. Because the image-switching mirror was linked to Su Xing, only he could enter. Lu Shaqing affirmed. "Lord husband, my lord, we are also going." Wu Xiao and Hua Wanyue wanted to enter the star nest. However, they were declined by Su Xing. "You two will recover right here. I can handle this. Your Highness." "Master." Gong Sun Huang and Yan Yizhen clearly wanted to accompany Su Xing, but he slightly smiled and nodded, a self-confident expression that said he would take care of this. "Recover properly, okay. I can't let you always exhaust yourselves." Su Xing said to Gong Kaiwei, "Kaiwei, can you look after them for me?" Gong Kaiwei nodded. Lu Shaqing entered the star nest, and Su Xing then immediately entered the mirror. The image-switching mirror opened a black shadow, and then it vanished completely into thin air. After Su Xing left, Wu Xingjie faintly smiled at Qiao Wuhui. "Thousand Buddha Star Chao Gai, can you explain your goal now?" Upon the endless sea. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's appearance could be said to be tyrannical to the extreme. With his first blow, he killed Defeat Star Living King Yama Erwan Mayer. The current Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's arrogance surpassed the power of Supervoid Peak. Every one of his movements seemed to place this world in the palm of his hands, especially with the incomparably terrifying First Magnetic Divine Light. It gently descended, capable of immediately restraining a star general. Erwan Mayer was already seething with fury at Erwan Mayer's death. She madly launched an attack. 10,000 flying swords, with their biting cold auras, pierced through the skies, ripping apart the endless sea. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether practically ignored it. The first magnetic divine light glowed, freezing the 10,000 flying swords, preventing Erwan Mayer from controlling them. The sword star was still furious, completely unafraid of his might. The azure sea green duckweed was thrown out. A green rainbow extended towards Devil Ancestor Dark Nether, becoming countless rays of green chi. Earth rank. Showy in a flash. Green duckweed instantly covered Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's body. The Sword Star's 5-star Earth rank was sufficient to instantly kill a Supervoid Peak, but even though she landed a blow on him, this Devil Ancestor Dark Nether nevertheless surprisingly tore himself free of the duckweed with black chi. By the time the duckweed attacked, Devil Ancestor Dark Nether sustained only minor injury. Even the enraged Erwan Mayer was shaken. "Transforming Star of Annihilation, you have actually comprehended it?" Shi Jingluan exclaimed. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether had spent so many years in continuous seclusion comprehending Transforming Star of Annihilation, everyone already guessed this was the case. But she never thought that he would finish surprisingly during the heavenly books. Originally, they thought Devil Ancestor Dark Nether wanted to rely on the former volume Heavenly Book to do so. In truth, Devil Ancestor Dark Nether had planned to do this. He meticulously raised a Star Master for the purpose of obtaining a former volume Heavenly Book, to pry into its mysteries, transforming Star of Annihilation. But a few days ago, he unwittingly encountered the sixth overlord, Old Demon Dark Rebirth. This was considered fortune for Devil Ancestor Dark Nether. This Old Demon Dark Rebirth surprisingly gave him pointers on how to reach transforming Star of Annihilation. Finally, not too long ago, Devil Ancestor Dark Rebirth broke through his shackles, successfully comprehending the great way of transforming Star of Annihilation. Transforming Star of Annihilation, transforming Star of Annihilation. Indeed, you Star Generals truly are enviable. However, it is a pity that nevertheless is for this world. Today, this ancestor shall take you as sacrifices to go to Star World. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was self-confident, gazing at the Star Maidens with eyes full of murderous intent and jealousy. That is fine. This one wants to see just how powerful transforming Star of Annihilation is. Xuannü took a deep breath, her aggression not weak. Devil Ancestor Dark Rebirth cackled. All of a sudden, the surrounding space clattered. Countless black chains broke through empty space, filling the area, trapping everyone. 10,000 Calamities chain. Xiyu was dumbstruck. Liked it? The shocking sound of thunder suddenly carved apart the air. Enormous black chains hissed out like black pythons, intertwining around each other, forming a barrier. Instantly, they filled the entire place. All of you, scram! Xuannü shouted after her rage passed. The cultivators of the three Ruan's water fort wanted to escape. Each and every one of them used escape techniques. The lights of the escape techniques flared, but this 10,000 Calamities chains trap array was too formidable. One supercluster ancestor had instantly escaped 100 li away. Just when he thought he could run, all of a sudden, a black chain as large as an anaconda launched towards him. This chain was incomparably massive, like a small mountain, far larger than a cultivator. The supercluster ancestor was ashen-faced, promptly using his flying swords to defend. The 100 flying swords' lights were bright, glinting against the black chains, but these chains were as immovable as a hill. All of the power they contained was simply something beyond what a supercluster ancestor could face. This chain instantly pierced through the supercluster ancestor's heart. Let alone killing a supercluster ancestor in one blow, the other cultivators were even less worthy of a mention. The 300 water fort cultivators were destroyed by the 10,000 Calamities chain. The 10,000 Calamities chain. To unexpectedly use this treasure, Xiyu activated the Vermilion Jian's clinging fire. A flaming bird emerged, but those chains stopped it. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's black chains filled the area like black snakes. The 10,000 Calamities chain was one of the Black Turtle Territory's most famous magic weapons. This treasure's materials were immemorial Tai divine essences, forged from within 10,000 thunderclaps. Each chain contained the power of 10,000 calamities and were hard to approach. If one was to be ensnared by the 10,000 calamities chain, even their cultivation would vanish, leaving them a cripple. Ever since Devil Ancestor Dark Nether obtained these 10,000 calamities chains, he had used them to trap himself to refine their powers. Also, to avoid other cultivators sensing his presence vanishing, he also used soul-concealing muslin to cover anomalies. Although it could be said that he had only refined 3 layers of the 9 layers on the 10,000 calamities chains, it could be said that he instead benefited by comprehending transforming Star of Annihilation. If he was not in a hurry for his chance to obtain the former volume Heavenly Book and the Jade Qilin, Devil Ancestor Dark Nether would not necessarily have taken action. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether took the stage with firm insidiousness. The endless 10,000 calamities chains coiled around empty space, weaving into a profound array. Black chi and lights rolled along the chains, as if a black net had covered an area of 1,000 li. This was the 10,000 calamities chain's first later, 10,000 calamities demonic net. Once caught inside, any cultivator's movements would be within Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's divine intent. He used the great heavenly cycle little dark star flying swords at the same time, a set hundreds of times stronger than Su Xingxiang's. Each flying sword had passed through the tempering of time. They were incomparably profound. Just the power of 100 swords was enough to make anyone terrified. Be careful. Xiyu shouted. Shi Jingluan's hand gripped the 6-star yellow dragon staff. With swift steps, she immediately charged forth. Lu Xiao also lent her support. Although she had nearly used all of her energy on the heavenly books, Jade Qilin's tenacity was not so easy to topple. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether activated the first magnetic divine light. But Lu Xiao and Shi Jingluan's star generals were already at 5-star or higher. Even the powerful first magnetic divine light could hinder the weapons of top-notch martial generals. Lu Xiao suddenly brandished her lance, smashing the incoming first magnetic divine light completely to pieces. Shi Jingluan then used Yellow Dragon Worship's Heaven to attack. The Yellow Dragon staff released a yellow dragon that completely tore apart the first magnetic divine light and directly pounced towards Devil Ancestor Dark Nether. And Sword Star Wan Jiner also was not willing to fall behind. With a heart full of hatred, the woman simply wanted to make mincemeat of Devil Ancestor Dark Nether. 10,000 flying swords endlessly faced Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's flying swords. The 5-star azure sea green duckweed in her hand was flung towards the sky, raising a green rainbow. Then, Xiyu, Li Shuangfei, Zhang Feiyu, and everyone else also took action. For a while, a storm erupted, filling the sky with the whistles of crossing saber light and sword light. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether completely ignored the other star generals. The only one that could possibly concern him were the star generals without star nests but profound star energy, like Minute Star 9 Tattooed Dragon Shi Jin, Strength Star Jade Qilin Lu Xiao, and Sword Star Tai Sui who stands his ground Ruan Shower. The top-notch martial generals closed the distance. If this was before, even the best cultivators would be somewhat afraid, but this Devil Ancestor Dark Nether saw very clearly. He thought to himself that this transforming star of annihilation was formidable as expected. If he actually was transforming star, who knew what trick he would use? Perhaps it could handle those first-ray star generals. In actuality, Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was not yet truly transforming star of annihilation. His comprehension of transforming star of annihilation had reached a limit. It seemed his body was unable to bear it, giving him a feeling of breaking away from this world. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether did not know how dangerous this was, but he could sense that the power in his body had never been more tyrannical. Thus, he was in the mood to kill star generals to obtain their star energy, for help as he went to that legendary star world. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether used a finger, and the endless sea below him blossomed with thousands of black lotus flowers that covered the entire ocean. He sat upon one of them, forming a hand seal and uttering an incantation. A moment later, his body emitted black chains that wrapped around his whole body. Black chi filled the shackles, and then this black chi flooded the skies, swirling around above the formation. Then, Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's appearance was peaceful, looking down on those below. After slowly extending his fist, his fingers spread open, clawing the air. His palm contained a flow of black chi that spun faster and faster, as if it was sucking in all of the Black Turtle Sea's spiritual energy. Even Xiyu immediately sensed her powers greatly weaken. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether finally flew over, directly attacking 3 of the women. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether had 3 powerful abilities. The first was the Great Heavenly Cycle Little Dark Star Flying Swords, which had 81 different sword arrays and swept away everything before them. Even Emperor Liang's Outer Void Flying Immortal's swords would not necessarily best them. The second was that strongest power of the 5 Spirits Law Book's metal volume, the first magnetic divine light that could bring down anything in the world. And the last was this technique. Nether Devil's Breath. This technique could turn ambient spiritual energy into devil chi. It was considered incomparably tyrannical. Seeing that the first magnetic divine light and great heavenly cycle little dark star swords were unable to handle the 3-star generals, Devil Ancestor Dark Nether did not hesitate to use his strongest power, preparing to get rid of them all in one fell swoop. Be careful. Lu Xiao and the others sensed danger. They instinctively raised their weapons. All of a sudden, there was a loud noise. That nether devil's breath came into contact with their weapons, and it soon after wrapped around. This breath was far stronger than the first magnetic divine light. Even their star weapons could not possibly fend this off. This is bad. Lu Xiao's expression changed. Less than she would like to admit, she now discovered that her entire body could not exert a bit of strength. If she had her earth rank, perhaps she could escape, but now, her luck honestly was bad. The Nether Devil's breath trapped the 3 women. Then, Devil Ancestor Dark Nether proceeded to circulate the Nether Devil's breath cultivation technique. Black smoke covered them, billowing, obscuring their sight. Lu Xiao and the others completely released their star energy, and their bodies glowed with spirit light. This monster wants to refine us. How truly audacious of him. Shi Jingluan sneered. The 6-star yellow dragon's staff twisted once more. Although she had used her earth rank and activated her 9 tattoo dragon's innate skill that currently lowered her realm, her 6-star destined weapon was nevertheless surly. This staff swung down, surprisingly stirring the devil chi. The world's spiritual power was like muddied waters. When Devil Ancestor Dark Nether saw this, he urged on his magic energy even further, arranging the 10,000 calamities chains to cover them. Suddenly, the devil chi condensed. Just as Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was gaining the upper hand, everyone felt worried. Shiyu activated the Vermilion Jian's clinging fire, but this was completely unable to handle the Nether Devil's breath. She could hardly defend herself. Watch this earth technique. Sun Xuannü shouted, raising her grazing deer full moon saber to attack. The saber light broke open a white line, passing like a wave. Several 10,000 calamities chains were torn apart by the passing saber light. Little Yuqi had inherited her elder sister's ferocity, and she very boldly charged towards the devil ancestor, thinking only of saving Lu Xiao and the others. Xuannü, Gu Tong and Li Shuangfei followed behind her, calling out in panic. Little Yuqi was practically rushing off to her own death before their eyes. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether sneered and raised a hand. A ray of first magnetic diving light descended towards little Yuqi. The divine light fell. Sun Xuannü's pace turned sluggish, unable to move an inch, but little Yuqi nevertheless did not concede defeat. She used her earth rank again. From the very start Devil Ancestor Dark Nether did not care about an earthly star, showing very little interest in these lowly earthly stars. Seeing her unexpectedly charge out of the first magnetic divine light, he was quite surprised. The man disdainfully smiled. The great heavenly cycle little dark star flying swords all gathered into an array. The sword array passed, and Sun Xuannü was barely able to ward it off, but at this time, Devil Ancestor Dark Nether had warped, suddenly vanishing into thin air. Sun Xuannü was alarmed to find he was already in front of her. This ancestor shall let you witness a bit of the might of transforming star of annihilation. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's fingers curled, and the black light in his hand condensed into a point, cutting at Sun Xuannü. Sun Xuannü raised her blade to block. Impossible. His flying swords pierced through Sun Xuannü, killing the girl. Gu Tong and Li Shuangfei used their own techniques, but their star energy was completely unable to compete against the unfathomable magic energy of Liangshan Continent's strongest cultivator, Devil Ancestor Dark Nether. They stared helplessly as Sun Xuannü was cut down. Another starfall. Absorbing the star energy of 2 star generals in succession, Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was even more arrogant. He continued on in a frenzy, attacking Gu Tong and Li Shuangfei. Run away, you two. Shiyu used the dual mode's ruler to protect them in time. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether sneered, Water Illusion Fairy, it seems you have reaped many benefits from accompanying that monster. However, do you dare face this ancestor as well? His powerful might made Shiyu pale in the face, unable to speak a word. The girl's hands formed a hand seal, and the clinging fire of the vermilion bird's skirt she wore flared. Humph. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was in no mood to kill Xuannü, but he loathed this clinging fire. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether had no other options. He warped again, appearing high above, continuously forming hand seals, thinking of only refining the three great star generals. Inside the Nether Devil's breath, Lu Xiao, Wan Jiner, and Shi Jingluan immediately felt their consciousnesses turn heavy, their bodies increasingly unable to endure. The star crests on their foreheads even began to be slowly consumed by the black qi, shockingly beginning to refine them. Elder Sister Xuannü, quickly call Su Xing over to save you. I am willing to work as hard as an ox to repay him for this favor. Gu Tong was extremely worried, at a loss of what to do. At this time, she recalled Xuannü and urgently implored her. Xuannü was nevertheless somewhat hesitant still. Now that Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was honestly too strong, to make Su Xing emerge was unpredictable. Whether or not she ought to have him interfere in this matter, Xuannü honestly did not have a clue. If it was Chai Ling in danger, Xuannü definitely would have done this, but Lu Xiao, Shi Jingluan, and Wan Jiner were all very special. They could be considered Su Xing's strongest enemies in the future. The latter two were particularly threatening. Although Jade Qilin and Su Xing were familiar, Xuannü could see that the Jade Qilin would rather die than serve a master. Su Xing's power was increasingly vast, and this instead hardened Lu Xiao's resolve to stand against Su Xing. To say this, Xuannü could not be blamed. Since ancient times, Liangshan continent star duels always had this concept, and Xuannü's thinking was no exception. But Gu Tong was increasingly anxious. Zhang Feiyu also calmly watched Xuannü, leaving everything to her master. Xuannü suddenly recalled that scene back in Flower Dragon Cave, profoundly understanding female tiger's feelings. Even if my wife dies, she will act on behalf of Sir. Xuannü grit her teeth and immediately activated the light-shifting image-switching mirror. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether changed slightly when he saw this. He was somewhat fed up with this development. Although he did not fear the Purple Thunder monster, he did not want to be disturbed. Especially against that Purple Thunder monster's numerous star generals, he was not particularly confident. The man roared. 1,000 sword shadows descended, their formidable might surprisingly putting Xuannü to the edge of collapse. Xuannü, if you die, then I shall die for that man as well. Zhang Feiyu laughed and charged ahead. Her earth-rank burning sky and sea broke the great heavenly cycle sword array. Then, she turned to attack but was frozen by the first magnetic divine light. Immediately, she was killed into the star nest by Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's flying swords. Xuannü grit her teeth hard, focusing on summoning the other side of the shifting light mirror. When Devil Ancestor Dark Nether once again gathered his flying swords, Gu Tong at this time rushed out to block the swords. Tonger. Xuannü's expression changed. Elder sister, please tell Su Xing, I leave my daughter to him. Gu Tong turned her head back and smiled, fearlessly facing the great heavenly cycle little dark star. Stop. Xuannü screamed. The flying swords descended. Suddenly, a giant shield of a profound presence blocked Gu Tong's vision, like the 5 sacred mountains themselves had emerged to block all of the incoming flying swords and sword lights. Then, a flock of golden dragons surged into the sky, clashing with the great heavenly cycle little dark star flying swords. There were enormous booms. The great heavenly cycle little dark star flying swords were repelled. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was stunned. Gu Tong was stunned. Li Shuangfei was stunned. Lu Xiao was stunned. Shi Jingluan and Wan Jiner were also stunned. Everyone was stunned. From out of thin air, a lotus flower bloomed, extinguishing an expanse of the devil light. From within this Buddhist light, a figure emerged carrying Gu Tong. A daughter without her mom simply won't do. The dumbstruck Gu Tong suddenly wanted to bawl upon seeing the man's smile, but female tiger forced her tears back. Quickly save the elder sisters. Su Xing. Gu Tong promptly said. Xuannü set Gutong down and turned his head back. Purple thunder monster. Everyone was shocked. Xuannü wrinkled his brow, surveying the scene in front of him. The surroundings were an endless expanse of chains forming a giant net. Those chains billowed with demonic qi. Even he could not easily touch them. At the center of this net was a sinister, black-robed man, his eyes like lightning, his malice chilling. And below this man, there was another large mass of black qi, like a cage containing 3 girls. Lu Xiao, Shi Jingluan, and Ruan Jiner. Xuannü recognized them, but that evil man was the only one he was not familiar with. But seeing that his power was astonishingly beyond Supervoid Peak, he could recognize this man's identity without thinking. The Devil Star Palace's Devil Ancestor Dark Nether. Xuannü wrinkled his brow. This was one of the cultivators called Liangshan continent's closest to transforming Star of Annihilation. Could it be that he actually comprehended transforming Star of Annihilation? So you are the Purple Thunder Monster? Devil Ancestor Dark Nether also stared closely at Xuannü. The man was expressionless, yet his heart was secretly in shock. This man before him who had rampaged through the 4 territories, raising a bloody carnage, surprisingly had an air of righteousness. He was honestly not evenly remotely related to a monster. Sir. Xiyu was somewhat apologetic. Just perfect. I also wanted to try the martial arts I learned from Banzwang. Xuannü smiled and said, not at all minding this. On the contrary, if Xiyu truly did not call for him out of fear he would be in danger, Xuannü probably would actually have hated her to death. What a bold tone. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether laughed. With even a martial general the likes of Jade Qilin Lu Xiao trapped by his devil qi, a single star master surprisingly dared to play martial arts tricks before him. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether felt this was truly ridiculous to the extreme. Do you think that you are truly unparalleled just because you contracted with Lin Chong? Today, this ancestor shall get rid of the scourge that is you on behalf of Liangshan continent and Maiden Mountain. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether sneered. He formed a hand seal, attacking with first magnetic divine light. From his perspective, with his cultivation, a single ray of first magnetic divine light was sufficient to make this arrogant man realize what power was. Shaqing. Let us properly entertain this old demon. Xuannü smiled. A figure rushed out from his surroundings. The girl dressed in Buddhist garb, Lu Shaqing, let loose a punch, rising sharply. Against the incoming first magnetic divine light, her hand grasped it. Lu Shaqing suddenly pulled, and this first magnetic divine light was torn to shreds like a piece of silk. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was astounded. What level of strength was this, to unexpectedly be able to rip apart his profound powers? The great heavenly cycle little dark star flying swords immediately spun, forming a sword array. Xuannü formed a hand seal. 48 flying swords rose at the same time. Heaven Tearing, Langya, Jian Feather, and Time Immemorial emerged. Heaven Tearing led the attack, Langya dispelled the demonic techniques, Jian Feather cleared the muddied air, and Time Immemorial took charge of defense. Each flying sword coordinated with each other, suppressing Devil Ancestor Dark Nether. Though Devil Ancestor Dark Nether possessed formidable magic energy and cultivation, because he was currently using it to restrict and refine Lu Xiao and the others, the powers he wielded were weakened, putting him on even ground with Xuannü. Xuannü at this time immediately followed up, attacking together with Lu Shaqing. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether somewhat feared this woman's frightening monster strength. He immediately controlled the 10,000 calamities chains to intercept her. Lu Shaqing struck her staff against the chain, but the 10,000 calamities chains were forged from thunder. Thunderlight surged upon the chains and repelled Lu Shaqing. Lu Shaqing continued to brandish her staff, each strike wielding Buddhist light in her clash with the 10,000 calamities chain. Xuannü used an escape technique, rising up. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether then said, "Today, this ancestor will have you refined." Devil Ancestor Dark Nether once again used Nether Devil's breath. Even Xiyu was alarmed at the power of this Nether Devil's breath. She urgently wanted to warn Xuannü, but she apparently did not need to do so. The spiritual aura in Xuannü's surroundings became a dark devil qi. Even the 10,000-year evil-suppressing Langyou was unable to disperse this devil qi. The devil qi swallowed Xuannü. Even the Lu Shao was currently straining to resist, was in a cold sweat for Xuannü. Xuannü first opened the meditative mind lotus flower, but even Buddhism's Mahayana was unable to restrain this power. The golden lotus had hardly manifested when it was abruptly corroded and wilted. Xuannü remained unflustered, striking with purple mansion immortal thunder, but that, too, was like a stone thrown into the ocean. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was further elated to see this. This man brought only one star general and seemed to be within his grasp now. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was just about to finish him off, first using the Nether Devil's breath to constrict Xuannü, when all of a sudden, a dense purple light filled the area around Xuannü, seemingly approaching from the east. This purple cloud and the devil qi entangled. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's strongest ability was unable to best it. Purple cloud east approaches. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was hoarse. Liked it? The abilities that filled Liangshan continent were innumerable. Emperor Liang's True Dragon Imperial Qi, Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's Nether Devil's Breath, the Most High Path's One Qi becomes Three Clarities, Buddhism's Mahayana Meditative Mind Lotus Flower and more were all distinguished, dominant over an area, but if there was to be a serious discussion, then there would be need to mention the purple cloud east approaches that was not among these. First-rate abilities like the True Dragon Imperial Qi or Nether Devil's Breath had special restrictions. Each ability was not easy to practice, but Purple Cloud East Approaches was different. Purple Cloud East Approaches was derived from the secret arts of Purple Star Transforming Qi. Not only could any cultivator practice it, the cultivation method was not very difficult to obtain either. Most supercluster ancestors could practice the secret art. Purple Star Transforming Qi had 4 realms. The first few realms were cultivated using flying swords, but the Purple Fiend realm began to display strong killing potential. At the highest realm, it would become Purple Cloud East Approaches. Cultivators were like saints descended, composed, every single one of their gestures in accordance with the way of the world. It could be said that this was extremely profound. But the Purple Cloud East Approaches was extremely difficult to cultivate. The absolute majority of cultivators could not break through to the Purple Cloud East Approach's second realm in their own lifetime. Cultivators able to enter the Purple Fiend realm were already the geniuses among geniuses. For example, the Purple Firmament's Immortal Palace's genius from back then, the Star Master of Gold Lancer Su Ning, Chen Nelyuo. That this Purple Thunder monster learned Buddhism's Mahayana Meditative Mind Lotus Flower already made Devil Ancestor Dark Nether very surprised. However, this Devil Ancestor could also see that this Meditative Mind Lotus Flower was not as profound as Holy Monk Four Noble Truths. The Lotus Flower's blossom filled the universe. Most likely, he obtained it through dumb luck by contracting the solitary star. Star Masters always advanced by leaps and bounds in the star duels anyways, so such a thing was not odd. But when Devil Ancestor Dark Nether saw Xuannü surprisingly use Purple Cloud East Approaches, this number 1 monster of Liangshan continent was dumbstruck. If he had not cultivated his mind for nearly 300 years to a state of indifference and ruthlessness, seen all manners of things, he truly would have cursed, "Fuck you." This man had to have come from Star World. Buddhism's Mahayana Meditative Mind Lotus Flower was already astounding. Now, he unexpectedly had cultivated Purple Cloud East Approaches, and he even had the Purple Thunder Monster nickname. What the fuck, I have seen the abnormal, but never anything this abnormal. This Buddha, this saint, this devil, not one of these was enough for this guy. He is surprisingly all 3. If it was not for the star duels increasing Xuannü's magic energy and experience that was not as profound or pure as Devil Ancestor Dark Nether, the Devil Ancestor would have wanted to flee. You have been called the Purple Thunder Monster by the Azure Dragon territory. You are like this ancestor. How about we make an alliance? Devil Ancestor Dark Nether shouted. Seeing the Purple Cloud East Approaches, he immediately put on a conciliatory manner. Sure, but you'll have to let them go first. Xuannü graciously agreed. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was expressionless. Purple Thunder Monster, this ancestor would kill the greatest star general on your behalf. You ought to be happy. If you can help me, how about the Devil Star Palace helps you climb the peak? Since you aren't willing, then let's not waste our breath on talk. Xuannü knew that this Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was stalling for time to refine Lu Xiao. His smile disappeared, and his eyes turned cold. Xuannü formed a hand seal, and purple cloud east approaches rolled forth. Pervasive, dense purple clouds surged, churning and becoming all manner of beasts that pounced at the devil Qi. You are blind as a bat, unable to differentiate good from bad. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether coldly evaluated Xuannü. In his heart, he was furious. He was the famous hegemon of the Black Turtle territory, having lived through 3 generations of star duels. Not one star master or star general disrespected him. He had never seen someone as flippant and stupid as Xuannü. To surprisingly want to help his own enemies. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether opened his mouth. His flying swords became black rivers of stars that descended, carving open the purple cloud east approaches. Lu Shaqing broke out of the entrapment of the 10,000 calamities chains, raising her staff to strike. The solitary star's realm was true Phoenix first stage. Instantly, she quickly arrived in front of Xuannü, and they worked together. On one hand, Devil Ancestor Dark Nether wanted to refine Lu Xiao, but on the other hand, dealing with them was even more thorny. Without a choice, Devil Ancestor Dark Nether immediately unleashed the second technique of the 10,000 calamities chain. Suppressing Chain's immortal court. Black chains rustled. An enormous python twisted over, forming an attack of black storms that directly covered Xuannü and Lu Shaqing. When Lu Shaqing saw that Xuannü was in trouble, she immediately retreated to his side, sweeping her Chan staff. The woman's monster strength was unrivaled, her Buddhist light endless. Ray after ray repelled the incoming 10,000 calamity chains. Xuannü then raised his hand, and purple cloud east approaches flowed out from his sleeve. Thick and dense purple qi immediately covered the 10,000 calamities chain, trapping them as if in a swamp. Seizing this chance, Xuannü glanced over and used purple cloud east approaches once more. To the far east of the endless sea, a purple cloud spread across the horizon, rolling forth. This purple cloud east approaches indeed lived up to its name. Just by moving his divine intent, the cultivator could make use of even the world. Even Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was impressed at this saint-level cultivation method, but he was transforming Star of Annihilation. He did not believe that a single Supervoid middle-stage Star Master could defeat him. But Xuannü from the start had not thought of killing him first. He urged on his magic energy at full power, his objective only to rescue Lu Xiao from danger. Purple cloud east approaches bore down upon the Devil Qi. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether immediately did his utmost to resist. Black and purple clouds clashed in the sky, fighting back and forth, creating 2 extremes, incomparably profound and making everyone look on in awe. Most of Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's magic energy was placed on refining Lu Xiao. Seeing danger, he immediately activated a magic weapon. This treasure was a black iron golem. Named Devil Spirit Heavenly Soldier, this was the magic weapon that Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was most proud of, refined using several cultivators whose martial artists were on the level of Supervoid Sword Saints. The Devil Spirit Heavenly Soldier became a gigantic monster the size of 100 zhang. Its whole body was covered in impenetrable black essence steel. The first thing that happened when it appeared was to tear apart the net of 10,000 calamities chain. The Devil Spirit Heavenly Soldier threw a punch towards Xuannü. Lu Shaqing did not hesitate at all to step forward. As expected of the magic weapon that Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was so proud of, it surpassed even the boundless bell. With an ear-piercing noise, its immense fist already hurtled mercilessly straight towards Lu Shaqing. The immense wind pressure made the girl's hair billow in waves, her clothes flutter. The surrounding Buddhist light and purple clouds immediately were blown asunder, demonstrating its formidable might. Clearly, the Devil Spirit Heavenly Soldier had other abilities. Against any other cultivator, this was perhaps a formidable weapon, but against the solitary star that uprooted Bodhi, it was perhaps not so fortunate. Lu Shaqing's figure flickered. Its formidable strength was completely unable to inhibit the solitary star's speed. Despite that attack's apparently incomparable might, Lu Shaqing completely ignored it. Bang! The world jolted as if shaken by an intense earthquake. The 10,000 calamities clattered. An inconceivable scene manifested. Lu Shaqing threw a punch, surprisingly caving in the devil spirit heavenly soldier's fist. A palm mark surprisingly burst out from the backside of the black steel. Dark rank. Vajra palm. Lu Shaqing followed with more punches and palm strikes. The devil spirit heavenly soldier was completely without the strength to fight back, showing more and more ugly dents under the woman's monster strength. Rays of divine light split forth. With a boom, the devil spirit heavenly soldier suddenly shattered. How can this be? Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was blank. Discuss the latest chapter here. 1. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's Devil Spirit Golem was refined using 10,000-year black essence and Supervoid Sword Saint Souls. It was impervious to the 5 elements, impenetrable to sword and spear. As Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's most prized magic weapon, it was even capable of facing a Supervoid cultivator. But he never imagined that upon first contact with this solitary star, it would surprisingly be pounded into scrap metal in a flurry of punches. Just how terrifying was this woman's monster strength? If it could be said that Yanixin's boxing used softness to overcome strength, then Lu Shaqing's monster strength was as heavy as Mount Tai. The power of her fists could shatter even 10,000 years black essence. The withering thriving lotus flower beast formed lotuses in midair. Lu Shaqing stepped on empty space, soaring up. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether did not dare let this monster strength woman approach him. Sneering, the great heavenly cycle little dark star flying swords wildly danced, their sword tips twisting towards her. Su Xing at this time extended his hands. Purple clouds slowly ascended, releasing auspicious light, brilliant and lustrous. Purple clouds filled the whole sky. Perhaps they were Qilin, perhaps they were divine birds, the clouds transformed into every kind of immemorial beast to claw at the devil Qi. Su Xing gathered all of his power into the purple cloud east approaches, breathing calmly. Each one of his movements made the purple cloud swirl circulate like yin-yang. When this purple cloud east approaches touched the devil Qi, Devil Ancestor Dark Nether sensed pressure. This saintly power was indeed formidable. His nether devil breath surprisingly was being dissolved by the purple cloud. Amit Ba. Lu Shaqing chanted the Buddha's name, her fist clenched tight. A punch fell towards Devil Ancestor Dark Nether. This punch seemed to break heaven and earth, the image of a phoenix manifesting behind Lu Shaqing. Its imposing power made Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's approaching sword array was surprisingly repelled, unexpectedly unable to approach Lu Shaqing in the slightest. This was the power of a true phoenix martial general. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's expression concentrated. With a malevolent laugh, the 10,000 calamities chains in the surroundings clattered. Third ability, Eternal Life Curse Binding, was sprung without any hesitation. The 10,000 calamities chains began to change form with Devil Ancestor Dark Nether at their center. The 10,000 calamities chains crackled with thunderlight, linking into a clump of chains that pounced at Lu Shaqing like a tidal wave. Her fist thundered. Another chain. Another punch knocked it asunder. Another chain hindered her path. The shackles surrounding Devil Ancestor Dark Nether were like an indestructible and never-ending wall of chains. That exploding thunderlight was such that an ordinary cultivation would basically have no way to approach at all. Even the true phoenix Lu Shaqing could only barely move against it. After consecutively destroying the guard of a dozen 10,000 calamities chains, the incoming thunderlight finally repelled Lu Shaqing. The great heavenly cycle little dark star flying swords followed up, about to kill Lu Shaqing, but they were again destroyed by Su Xing's immemorial flying swords. At this time, Purple Cloud East approaches was already close to dyeing the entire endless sea. A wisp of purple chi surged, a beautiful cloud of auspiciousness. It drew the reverence of countless cultivators, as if a saint had actually approached from the east, prostrating themselves in its worship. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's Devil Qi, on the other hand, had been shrunk into a clump, like an enormous chicken egg. Seeing his Devil Qi was surprisingly unable to resist the purple cloud east approaches, Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was infuriated. Purple Thunder Monster, this ancestor shall help you ascend Maiden Mountain. Why do you refuse this ancestor's good intentions? If you release Lu Xiao and the others, perhaps I will consider your good intentions. Su Xing was indifferent. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether sneered, if this ancestor stops now, do you think you can kill this Jade Qilin? At any rate, don't even think of touching a hair on her head in front of my eyes. Su Xing shrugged, a completely heedless answer. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was truly furious. How could he not be aware that Su Xing's use of the purple cloud east approaches was not to waste his magic energy, but to force him into giving up refining Jade Qilin and the others? He was clearly helping this man get rid of the Star Duel's strongest enemies, but this man truly did not heed reason. He would surprisingly meddle and contrarily think of saving them. The Purple Thunder Saint is honestly a saint. Humph. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether sneered. If it was not for him putting most of his magic energy into refining 3 great star generals, he actually would have no need to fear the purple cloud east approaches of the Purple Thunder Monster. A pity that he let this brat bask in the limelight. This made the Black Turtle Territory's #1 cultivator fume enormously. Then witness this ancestor's techniques. Thinking darkly to himself, Devil Ancestor Dark Nether suddenly read an incantation. The surrounding Devil Qi formed countless malevolent faces, accelerating the refinement process. The star crest on Lu Xiao's forehead had already greatly dimmed. Just at this moment, all of a sudden, a golden light plunged into the clouds from a mountain high above the sea, sticking in like a sharp sword. This golden blade was very powerful, surprisingly cutting through the 10,000 calamities chain, even destroying the eternal life curse binding. Golden light suddenly attacked Devil Ancestor Dark Nether. However, this Devil Ancestor had practiced his body's abilities. By the time the golden light was in front of him, it had already become weak. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether swatted it aside with his palm, which stung in pain. Seizing it with his hand, he surprisingly found a piece of gold. What magic weapon is this? Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was surprised. Everyone turned their gazes to look at this light. A woman of outstanding beauty loftily walked into everyone's view. This palace shall confer 10,000 liang of gold. Be satisfied. The woman arrogantly smiled, a particular charm. Noble star. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was very surprised. Linger, what are you doing? Su Xing was very unhappy. In truth, Chai Ling was very conflicted a moment prior as to whether or not she should take action. To break this situation with Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was actually simple. She currently still had a purple star-grade astral treasure, stars around the moon. So long as she fed this to Xinger, the riches she possessed would be sufficient to break through the Nether Devil's breath, but on the other hand, Chai Ling knew that this was the last of her purple star-grade astral treasures. If she fed it now, she would have no tricks whatsoever later on. Secondly, she exposed her presence to everyone to draw fire upon herself. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether would most likely kill her to seize her red ink iron certificate, which would contrarily bring Su Xing great trouble, because nobody had any way to say for sure that if Devil Ancestor Dark Nether used full power to kill her, just what his chances were. Just as she hesitated, all of a sudden, Devil Ancestor Dark Nether read an incantation. His Devil Qi wildly bubbled. Chai Ling's heart was in a fluster, inwardly saying, since this palace has joined in the star duels, how can this palace be afraid and cowardly now? She patted Xinger. The napping Xinger opened an eye, and then it opened its mouth. A ray of golden light suddenly rose into the sky. The noble star's most famous first star duel, to slay Devil Ancestor Dark Nether, how can this palace not take action? Chai Ling smiled. Instead of living comfortably in the Great Circle Castle, you wish to kill this ancestor. Very well, this ancestor shall destroy you all at once today. The greed in Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's eyes was even more extreme. The noble star's red ink iron certificate was famous. Killing her was even more beneficial compared to the strength star. However, this Chai Ling was normally outside of the star duels. In possession of the red ink iron certificate, she was completely untouchable. Now that she had joined the star duels, that signified that she had lost the protections of the red ink iron certificate. As long as he killed her, this red ink iron certificate would be his. His heart racing, Devil Ancestor Dark Nether opened his mouth. A wisp of devil chi launched towards Chai Ling. Xuannü pointed a finger. Purple chi advanced to meet it. Purple Thunder Monster, this ancestor shall ask you once more, are you willing to collaborate with this ancestor? This ancestor will guarantee you ascend Maiden Mountain, move unfettered through Yangshan continent. No one would dare oppose you. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether seriously said. Did you not hear a word my wifey just said? Xuannü smiled. What? You are but my wifey's famous first battle. Xuannü looked to Chai Ling. Today is your death day. Chai Ling's cheeks flushed red, yet she tasted the sweetness of honey in her heart. That wifey address was just like a tacit agreement. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether nevertheless understood. Suddenly, he was seething with anger. Had he ever been so disdained by a star master, to surprisingly flirt before his eyes even with death so close at hand? Not only Devil Ancestor Dark Nether, the other girls were also quite speechless. This ancestor shall see just what tricks you have that allow you to be so flippant. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether sneered. He suddenly moved his divine intent. Xuannü immediately sensed a pressure come from his astral stone. Before he could restrain it with his divine intent in time, this pressure directly broke out, striking Xuannü while his guard was down. He coughed out a mouthful of blood. This item soared into the sky. The 10,000 calamities shackles spiraled, revealing an open space. A golden mountain peak was revealed at its center. Looking clearly, it was astonishingly the golden magnetic divine peak. This golden magnetic divine peak was Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's life-cast magic weapon. Originally lent to Great Saint Starkiller, it was captured by Xuannü afterwards. This life-cast magic weapon could not be refined and could be recaptured just by moving his divine intent. However, Devil Ancestor Dark Nether did not do so. Firstly, with his valiant strength, whether or not he had his life-cast magic weapon was irrelevant. Secondly, leaving this with the Purple Thunder Monster was not leaving behind one of his tricks. As long as Xuannü used the golden magnetic divine peak, exploiting his life-cast link, Devil Ancestor Dark Nether could sense him, easily obtaining information on what this Purple Thunder Monster was doing. Golden magnetic divine peak, reabsorb heaven and earth. Go! Devil Ancestor Dark Nether chanted. The golden magnetic divine peak immediately released its divine light and bore down upon Xuannü. This life-cast magic weapon forged using first magnetic divine light was absolutely powerful. Compared to the first magnetic divine light used before, it was stronger by 100-fold. The golden light was sucked in. This world seemed to become heavy, making everyone unable to draw breath. But seeing this golden magnetic divine peak appear, Xuannü instead smiled. Just as Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was about to smash the golden magnetic divine peak into Xuannü, he abruptly sensed that the golden magnetic divine peak was not receiving his control, stopping in midair. His heart was shocked to discover that his divine intent control was invalid. Only then did he notice that the golden magnetic divine peak was surrounded in essence fire. The divine light upon that golden magnetic divine peak had contrarily suppressed his devil chi. How can this be? Devil Ancestor Dark Nether shouted. In truth, Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's slight miscalculation was that he forgot about the blacksmith star general, gold coin spotted leopard Tang Lianxin. She naturally detected that this was a life-cast magic weapon. However, even if she was unable to refine it, Tang Lianxin still placed her earth rank upon this magic weapon. Immortal Heart Divine Seal. This earth rank could instantly seal any magic weapon or, alternatively, greatly enhance its might. At that time, the devil ancestor Dark Nether, who was cultivating transforming star of annihilation, completely missed detecting Tang Lianqin's technique. Upon seeing his life-cast magic weapon being sealed, devil ancestor Dark Nether was finally enraged. He suddenly bellowed, retracting the magic energy that had been refining Lu Xiao. He completely focused his power into his palms, suddenly thrusting them out. This magic energy that surpassed the peak of Supervoid was indeed tyrannical, surprisingly breaking the earth rank in an instant. The golden magnetic divine peak promptly shone over 10,000 zhang, covering the entire endless sea. This golden light completely covered everyone, weighing down on everyone's shoulders like 100 mountains. They were unexpectedly unable to move even an inch. Even the Lu Xiao that had just broke free of the devil chi was unable to budge. Everyone never imagined that devil ancestor Dark Nether would be so powerful. Chai Ling's smile suddenly cramped, and Xing'er was surprisingly unable to open its mouth. Devil ancestor Dark Nether sneered. The golden magnetic divine peak immediately fell. Lord Benefactor. Lu Shaqing sensed she was unable to last, her entire body's worth of monster strength completely incapable of holding it back. When Su Xing saw this, he also felt the pressure. Gritting his teeth, he suddenly moved his finger. The Liangshan seal immediately flew out. Liked it? The golden magnetic divine peak's light scattered in all directions, pressing down the endless sea's waves into stillness. Surprisingly, there was not even a single ripple. Under this light, everyone's bodies seemed to bear the pressure of several mountains, unable to budge. Even Su Xing's vast and sacred purple cloud east approaches had been suppressed. Devil ancestor Dark Nether used all of his magic energy, all of his power. When he saw that the first magnetic divine light had trapped everyone, he was delighted. Just as he was about to use the 10,000 calamities chains to kill them, suddenly, Su Xing's divine intent moved, activating a seal with great difficulty. It shuddered, rising into the air, the size of a mountain, darkening the skies above the sea. The power of this magic weapon's spiritual energy was such that even the first magnetic divine light, capable of capturing anything in the world and exalted as one of the strongest abilities, was hard-pressed to affect it. When this seal appeared, it broke the golden magnetic divine peak's suppression. Devil ancestor Dark Nether simply felt this was inconceivable. His golden magnetic divine peak was his life-cast magic weapon, refined over 100 years through first magnetic divine light. He believed it to be the strongest magic weapon in Liangshan continent. Even if that supreme ultimate diagram came, devil ancestor Dark Nether had no need to fear it, not with his unfathomable magic energy, but he never imagined that he would be unable to do anything against this seal when it appeared. Looking carefully upon this grand seal that was as boundless as a mountain, he saw the two characters, Liangshan. The Liangshan seal. Devil ancestor Dark Nether recognized this famous magic weapon of Liangshan continent. Hailed as the magic weapon that supported the weight of the entire Liangshan continent, it was difficult to blame the golden magnetic divine peak for being unable to restrain it. As expected of the purple thunder monster who had contracted a dozen star generals, the power of his divine intent could control this seal. That this magic weapon of the Great Circle Castle would be used by you, it seems that Hor has not been unkind to you. Devil ancestor Dark Nether sneered, immediately recovering his composure from his brief shock. Although the Liangshan continent was very strong, devil ancestor Dark Nether could see this man was already approaching his limit. This was merely a deathbed struggle. Today, this ancestor shall have you destroyed. Presumably, that maiden mountain will also be pleased. Devil ancestor Dark Nether thought to himself, suddenly increasing his magic energy. Devil ancestor Dark Nether's luck was not bad either. After his battle against Hu Banzwang, Su Xing's energy was already mostly spent. After a hasty recovery, he rushed over, only to encounter the Black Turtle Territory's #1 monster. Su Xing originally wanted a quick end to this battle, but to handle this devil ancestor Dark Nether was not an easy chore. This monster was worthy of being called the #1 ancestral master of the Black Turtle Territory, or in Liangshan continent, even. His abilities were numerous and varied, innumerable. If he was any other supervoid cultivator, Su Xing would have already taken him down. Seeing Devil Ancestor Dark Nether unexpectedly abandon refining Lu Xiao and redirect all his power to the Golden Magnetic Divine Peak, Shaqing was impressed with this monster's resolution. The Golden Magnetic Divine Peak and the Liangshan Seal collided in midair. One was made of rays of light, flattening the seas. The other was thick and boundless, suppressing all life. The two of them were top-notch magic weapons. In all of Liangshan continent's history, there had never been such a terrifying exchange. Beads of sweat slid down Shaqing's forehead. Controlling the Liangshan seal required formidable divine intent and magic energy, which started to make Shaqing falter. Lu Shaqing saw that Shaqing was beginning to drain, and her expression became serious. She spurred on all of the star energy inside herself at full power, slowly moving one arm under the heavy divine light, but Lu Shaqing had also used an earth rank beforehand. For the time being, to break free of this first magnetic divine peak without the power of her earth rank was nevertheless difficult to do. Noble star Qilin saw Shaqing's endless magic energy fall to a disadvantage, and her heart grew extremely anxious. She wanted to sign a contract with Shaqing to help restore his star energy. Doing so, they certainly could contend against this devil ancestor, but the first magnetic divine light was too strong. It made Qilin practically unable to move. Purple Thunder Monster, you still do not flee. Seeing the Purple Thunder Monster who swept through the 4 territories unable to oppose him, Devil Ancestor Dark Nether showed a slightly arrogant expression. However, he knew that this Star Master had the Jade Pendant. To kill him would be very difficult, but so long as this monster fled, Devil Ancestor Dark Nether would have absolute certainty to kill the other star generals present. Shaqing only focused on putting all of his power onto the Liangshan seal. He was without the strength to even speak. That this ancestor could be opposed by a star master like you, that truly is the dream of a fool. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether sneered. This old lady absolutely loathes men like you who believe they can place themselves above others. Gu Tong suddenly exploded with a roar. Upon the endless sea that was squeezed into being unable to breathe, she sounded especially ear-piercing. Lu Xiao, Shi Jingluan, Qilin, Shiyu, and the others looked at her in surprise. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether also was extremely incredulous that this earthly star was still able to speak under his golden magnetic divine peak. Yet seeing star female tiger Gu Tong's eyes flash savagely, it was like facing an infuriated tiger. This is bad. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's heart was astonished. Gu Tong opened her mouth and roared, a bellow breaking out from her soft throat. Her voice was endless, echoing in Gu Tong's surroundings and completely clearing out that first magnetic divine light. This voice echoed through space. Feedback from the 10,000 Calamities Chains formation again entered Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's mind, pouring in truly like a demonic voice, making Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's head split with a headache. His life-cast magic weapon abruptly slackened. Earth rank. Sound lingering a millennium. A heavenly star perhaps would be powerless to continue after using an earth rank, but the Yin star had enough to spare. Gu Tong borrowed this roar's leftover power to instantly break free of Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's suppression, not hesitating to rush before Shaqing, Gu Tong. Shaqing was taken aback, immediately understanding what she wanted to do. Gu Tong said nothing. She clasped Shaqing's face, shut her eyes, and kissed him. The power of their contract immediately took effect. Star crests began to shine upon each of their foreheads. With their contract instantly formed, Shaqing only felt the star energy in his body fill up, about to burst out of his body. Having contracted 14 star generals, another star nest emerged, and his control over the Liangshan seal was greatly eased. Kill him. Afterwards, there is no harm in you believing this old lady is unnecessary. Gu Tong bit her lip. Glancing at Gu Tong, Shaqing shook his head and smiled. Not saying anything more, his hands quickly formed a seal. No, 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 this should not be. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was alarmed. He actually anticipated the existence of a man like Xuannü who was capable of unlimited contracts, so beforehand, he specifically carried out suppression on Lu Xiao and the others, to not give them any chance to approach Xuannü at all. But he never expected this most insignificant female tiger would surprisingly be able to emerge as a force to be reckoned with. Of course, what he least expected was that this Een star had surprisingly still not signed a contract even after the heavenly books. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether hastily commanded the golden magnetic divine peak to fall. But at this time, Xuannü's magic energy had recovered to peak condition. The Liangshan seal suddenly slammed into it. A thunderous noise finally jolted the deathly still endless sea with overflowing waves. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's face was pale as he witnessed his own life-cast magic weapon Golden Magnetic Divine Peak nearly be slammed into two pieces by the Liangshan seal. His life-cast magic weapon had sustained injury, and Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was also similarly harmed. His first magnetic divine light immediately weakened. The pressure lifted. Solitary star Lu Shaqing had been waiting for precisely this moment, attacking with her staff. As her staff swept, the Liangshan seal once again attacked. The golden magnetic divine peak immediately split in two, its spiritual power completely vanishing. "Hey!" the girls all shouted after one another. Lu Xiao, Shijingluan, Wang Jiner, and the others immediately followed up their attacks. The 5-star or higher star weapon struck Devil Ancestor Dark Nether, and the 10,000 Calamities Chains formation was completely unable to catch their attacks, dispersing easily. Continuously sustaining the frontal assault of powerful star weapons, Devil Ancestor Dark Nether vomited blood, feeling he was about to die. But this Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was indeed formidable. Even with such an attack, he waved his hand, and Devil Chi pounced, forcing the 4 girls completely back. His internal organs were all torn, but he controlled the great heavenly cycle little dark star flying swords to attack Xuannü suddenly at this moment, a golden light slashed like a sharp sword. The golden light quickly grew before his eyes. Just as Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was prepared to swat it aside with his hand, Gu Tong at this moment again used her earth rank voice to interrupt all of Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's actions. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether stared on as this golden light grew larger and larger in his eyes, finally piercing his heart. 10,000 liang of gold smashed into his body, seemingly shattering all of Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's bones. After the golden light, he heard Chai Ling's voice. "This palace just used 10,000 liang of gold to properly bury you." "No." Golden light continuously pounded him like waves. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether could not bear any more. His eyes cracked open and glared at Xuannü, simply unable to believe that he had spent half his life comprehending transforming star of annihilation and already reached the final stretch, only to surprisingly die at Xuannü's hands in the very end. "This is impossible," Devil Ancestor Dark Nether screamed. This Devil Ancestor Dark Nether, the #1 monster capable of making Emperor Liang feel grim, suddenly howled, smashed to death by 10,000 liang of gold. Falling here, he became the first cultivator across 9 generations of Star Duel's history to die at noble star Little Whirlwind Chai Jin's hand. Famous, yet also nothing out of the ordinary. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether died. Everyone felt as if they were dreaming, that this was not too real. The situation was not at all alleviated with Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's death. Shijingluan, Wang Jiner, and the others seemed to be facing an even greater enemy, nervously eyeing Xuannü, the star weapons in their hands stirring restlessly. Even the Lu Tianya who had been suppressed up to this point into nearly vanishing from existence gripped his sword, waiting for an opportunity to move. On the other hand, Lu Xiao wore a smile upon her face, her expression relaxed as she retracted her star weapon. Xuannü waved his hand, and a purple cloud took those 10,000 calamities chains into his bag. "You alright?" Xuannü asked. Congrats. Yet another sister has been damaged by you." Lu Xiao smiled and said. "I was willing." Gu Tong softly said. Xuannü smiled, "Shower, when can you be damaged by me?" "That is being too greedy." Lu Xiao winked. So as to avoid Su Xing and Lu Xiao sinking further, Shi Jingluan at this time stepped forward to say, if you want to make a move, do it. No need to put on a farce of peace. Su Xing looked all around. Indeed, Shi Jingluan and the others were practically spent. If Su Xing was willing, he could take them down without Lin Yingmei. I had thought of defeating you all and signing contracts afterwards, so as to avoid a life and death struggle in the future. Su Xing admitted. Shi Jingluan laughed, even in death, I will not surrender to any man. Su Xing discerned something, asking back, is Qingci all right? Shi Jingluan was taken aback, her expression sinking. It's been so long since I last saw this little sister. Can you help deliver a message for me? Su Xing smiled. This time, she owes me a favor. Next time we meet, I hope we can unite to scale Maiden Mountain together. After all, our goal is the same. Shi Jingluan stared attentively at Su Xing, but she was depressed to find that she was completely unable to discern whether this man was being sincere or insincere. But hearing that favor honestly made 9 tattooed dragons displeased. She meticulously arranged the situation, yet in the end, she only helped this man. If only. Shi Jingluan nodded, profoundly gazing at Su Xing. Elder sister Shower, you are also wounded. Return with this palace. Chai Ling spoke at this time. Hearing the noble star invite Jade Qilin Lu Xiao, Shi Jingluan's entire body stiffened, and the atmosphere once again fell into deep worry. Liked it? Shi Jingluan was honestly afraid that Lu Xiao had been swindled by the noble star. Everyone knew that the current purple thunder monster was very deranged. Now that such a favor was owed, with this invitation, she may be completely different the next time they met. 9 tattooed dragons. Shi Jingluan already decided that if Lu Xiao wanted to follow the purple thunder monster, then no matter the method, even if she had a falling out, she could not allow the purple thunder monster's power to increase any further. Evidently, her worries were superfluous. Lu Xiao's mirror was clear as a mirror. Shower appreciates little sister's kindness. However, Shower likes to be alone and thus will not follow little sister. Little sister's first participation in the star duels has also broken 9 generations of precedent. Please, look out for yourself. Saying these words, Lu Xiao directed her gaze at Su Xing, as if saying she was leaving Chai Ling to him. Su Xing knowingly nodded. Since your distinguished self cares about Qingci, how about you accompany me for a trip to the 9 Dragons Palace? Shi Jingluan asked amicably. If there's a chance in the future, sure. Your servant had rushed over in a hurry. My wives are still worried about your servant. Now is not the time to be drinking tea. Someday, I must bring the wives for a visit. Su Xing chuckled. How could he not see through Shi Jingluan's murder banquet? If just himself, Shaqing, and Xiyu went to the 9 Dragons Palace, if Shi Jingluan decided to kill, Su Xing would not have much of a chance. And after the heavenly books were finished, the Liangshan jade pendant would be unable to be used. That would truly be like a lamb in the lion's den, not boding well at all for them. But he still was not fond of her scheming, so Su Xing added some harsh words at the end. Shi Jingluan smiled profoundly, not exposing their secret struggle in the slightest. Chai Ling knew it was ill-advised to linger in this place. Although the Black Turtle Territory's greatest monster had died, this 9 tattooed dragons was not an accommodating character. You can slowly reminisce. Shower is going to find a place to refine the heavenly book. And, this time, I hope no one will come bother Shower. Shower pensively nodded. Then, she leapt into the air. A golden light flashed, and a pair of wings sprouted from her back, demonstrating her true phoenix realm. Ruan Jiner looked at Shi Jingluan. Queen Shi Jingluan did not pursue. With magic traveler Dai Xuannü present, Jade Qilin could not escape her eyes or ears. A pity that we lost several sisters. Shi Jingluan gazed at those star weapons, showing grief. Ruan Jiner silently took Ruan Mayer's star weapon, Dragon King Stake. Your servant hopes that Queen Jingluan will deliver his well wishes to little sister Qingci. Your servant hopes that we can collaborate with each other, to accomplish everyone's wish together. Xuannü cupped his fist. I shall inform her. Jingluan promised. Wife. Xuannü looked to Xiyu. Xiyu nodded, expressing assent. Xuannü beckoned with his hand and summoned the heavenly river star riding boat. Purple clouds propped it up, billowing, like a saint approaching from the east. Xiyu boarded the star riding boat. Linger, Gu Tong, let's go back. Gu Tong had forced her contract with Xuannü. Like a bride on her wedding night, her heart was restless, not daring to meet Xuannü's gaze. Xuannü walked over and patted her shoulder. Hey, Gu Tong, this style isn't like your lioness from Hedong Roars. You are the lioness from Hedong Roars. Gu Tong blushed, glaring at Xuannü. Her body finally relaxed. Thus, Xuannü pulled her hand to the boat, and Gu Tong did not object. Watching the boat supported upon purple clouds depart, Jingluan finally sighed in relief. Just then, she was honestly somewhat afraid this purple thunder monster would raise his hand against them. This was the first time that she was so lacking in confidence. Xian Yunshang is right. This man's only weakness are his wives. What a pity. Seeing Xuannü's considerate treatment of Gu Tong, Jingluan knew that female tiger was not following the wrong person. Recalling that the purple thunder monster had top-notch thousand-year martial generals like Lin Chong and Wu Song, he nevertheless did not discriminate against the Yin star ranked in the hundreds. No wonder so many star generals followed him. Xian Yunshang's plan was fine, but unfortunately, seeing this scene today, Jingluan doubted whether or not ugly prince consort would inevitably follow in Lin Chong's footsteps if she actually signed a contract with him. Qingci's worries were well-founded. AI. Xuannü heavily sighed. Xuannü, condolences. I am confident we can meet our sisters someday when we climb Maiden Mountain. Jingluan said. Xuannü was currently recalling the first time she met Xuannü at the Black Turtle territory where they battled. If at that time, she had signed a contract with him, then perhaps Mayer and Pinger would not have died. She knew just by looking at this man, with his multitude of star generals, they had gone through so many bitter battles only to instead become even braver. Even that heavenly solitary star was unstoppable. Now, regret was already completely useless. Her two little sisters were dead, and Mayer had no thoughts of control over the three Ruan's water fort. When there were three of them before, she had thoughts that she excelled, but now, nothing mattered. Jingluan, I can enter the uprising with Qingci now. But I have one condition. Xuannü made her decision. If it is about exterminating Devil's Star Palace, Xuannü, no need to be polite. I would do the same. Jingluan said. I, Xuannü, shall place my faith in you all. The 1000-year Songjiang, the 9th generation's uprising, I believe you can change these star duels. We will. Outside the endless sea. Seeing Devil Ancestor Dark Nether. Xuannü sighed. How unfortunate. Even with such a good opportunity, even Devil Ancestor Dark Nether was unable to kill the Purple Thunder monster. Looking at the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon, who was currently fretful, slouched like a puddle of mud in her hands, this normally brash and domineering man's life was entirely in her palm right now. If she so wished, Xuannü could use the Dark Rebirth great technique that old demon Dark Rebirth taught her to devour the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon. She imagined the flavor of the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon who contracted 2 star generals would be pretty good. Xuannü pondered, but she nevertheless did not raise a hand against this lord husband. In fact, she had no wifely sentiments for him. From the very start, Xuannü knew that the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon had ulterior motives against her. When they climbed Maiden Mountain in the future, he would kill her. Of course, Xuannü's thinking was the same. The reason Xuannü gave up was mostly thanks to the Purple Thunder monster. The Purple Thunder monster's power was too vast, for even Devil Ancestor Dark Nether had been slain. In the future star duels, they would need to unite all powers. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demons Li Xiangfei was an absolutely powerful star general. They could not be missing her in a confrontation against the Purple Thunder monster. Lord Husband, this time, you must properly thank the Purple Thunder monster for saving your life. Su Xingxiang charmingly smiled, lifting the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon and fleeing in the direction of the Devil Star Palace. If her conjecture was correct, the 3 Wands Water Fort and the 9 Dragons Palace were bound to unite. After Devil Ancestor Dark Nether's death, they would raze the Devil Star Palace to the ground. The Devil Star Palace was practically without any power. The remaining few Supervoid cultivators were not placed in Su Xingxiang's gaze at all. However, the Devil Star Palace had some magic weapons, materials, treasures, and medicines that were quite valuable. They say that every star duel would change the power balance between the 3 territories. This seems to completely true. Su Xingxiang muttered to herself. On the ocean, only a desolate figure was left behind. When Shi Jingluan returned to the 9 Dragons Palace, Qingci was still in the Heavenly Book dream. Everyone anxiously asked about Lu Xiao when they saw Shi Jingluan return. When they learned of the news pertaining to Devil Ancestor Dark Nether and the Purple Thunder monster, all of them were dumbstruck. Upon learning of Li Shuangfei and Sun Xinyue's starfalls, all of them were full of grief. Because the sole remaining star general of the Spring Breeze Drunken Rain Pavilion, Horn Star Singlehorn Dragon Zhou Ku, was searching for stones to upgrade her star weapon, she did not go along. Hearing what happened, she was filled with endless regret. No longer did she have the joy of having only just upgraded her Fang of Broken Skies to 7-star. On the contrary, as Sun Xinyue's elder sister, Sick Yuchi Sun Yueying realized that this matter had been discussed before many times. Although the woman's brow was slightly sorrowful, she was indifferent to life and death. Without another word, she returned to cleaning her weapon. I never imagined this situation would have been saved by that man. Jin Xiongyu, even the Black Turtle Territory's #1 ancestral master, was helpless against him. This Su Xing is indeed very skillful. He has surprisingly even cultivated Purple Cloud East approaches. It appears that it will be very difficult for us sisters to realize our common wish for the star duels. Sisters, please prepare carefully. N. However, after the Heavenly Books, that Purple Thunder monster will surely become everyone's enemy. We are the same. Xian Yunshang reminded Jin Qiongyu. Enough of this for now. We have other matters to attend to first. Shi Jingluan waved her sleeve, sending Zhou Ku away for the time being, saying, Yunshang, Mingyue, Yueying. With the common ground we found with Ruan Jiner, our groups will soon be departing to destroy the Devil Star Palace. Now that Devil Ancestor Dark Nether has died, the Devil Star Palace's power is gone. Are we going to destroy the Devil Star Palace right now? Xian Yunshang said. No, you are to immediately go kill Su Xing. Shi Jingluan said in a cold voice. Seeing that Su Xing only had Lu Shaqing, Gu Tong, Chai Ling, Shi Yu at his side, they practically had no combat strength left after the battle. Now was their best chance to kill them. Even if Su Xing escaped, Chai Ling and Shi Yu could not. She believed that he would not abandon his wives. The Heavenly Books had ended anyways. It was time to tear off this mask of hypocrisy. But Sister Qingci? Wang Jingji was skeptical. I will speak with her. Now is the best opportunity, we cannot be childish any longer. I do not believe this man will let us go. Shi Jingluan sternly said. N. Sun Yueying nodded, raising her 1,000 snow piles and 10,000 clouds as she left the palace. Qin Mingyue also hefted her mace as she walked out. Elder sister, Yunshang will leave for now. Xian Yunshang mounted flower tribute and departed. So as to reliably face Su Xing, the black whirlwind Li Longkue that normally shadowed Qingci wherever she went left together with them. Shi Jingluan then looked to Speed Star Dai Xingyue. You want Xingyue to go find elder sister? Dai Xingyue asked. Going right now will only draw Lu Zhao's suspicion. Do not go for now. You are to immediately go spread rumors that the Purple Thunder monster has killed Devil Ancestor Dark Nether and is seriously wounded, that Lin Chong is not accompanying him. See whether or not the remaining 4 great devil sects under the Devil Star Palace will take action. Shi Jingluan was not certain about the 4 great devil sects. After all, the Purple Thunder monster's reputation was honestly too frightening, having swept across the 4 territories. However, 9 tattooed dragons could only wait and see if they dared brave danger for glory. If they united with her, these devil sects probably would want a portion of the profits. Lu Tianya knew intuitively that if the 4 great devil sects acted, he would also have to face Su Xing. As long as he showed Qingci was innocent, he presumed that Purple Thunder monster would not do anything. After everything had been arranged, Shi Jingluan took a deep breath, surprisingly finding that her heart was still somewhat uneasy, nervous. Song Qingci, if only you can understand my considerations. Shi Jingluan muttered to herself, her brow furrowed. The heavenly books were already close to ending. How has she not broken free from the heavenly book dream? What was happening? In fact, no one could have imagined that right now, Song Qingci was currently listening to an exceedingly refined, immortal-like woman give a sermon. Her beauty could not be profaned. She was a woman that nobody would be able to gaze at directly, one whose name was known to everyone in Liangshan Continent's star duels. She was called Xuannü of the 9th heaven. Liked it? The auspicious purple clouds parted, forming Qilin-like figures supporting the star-riding boat on its journey east. Such a luxurious flight magic weapon was rarely seen in the Black Turtle territory, especially that cover of purple cloud east approaches, which made each and every cultivator that gazed upon it endlessly awestruck. An even faster celestial light quickly caught up from behind. The speed of that light made those purple clouds rapidly disperse. This dazzled the eyes of cultivators, catching only a faint glimpse of a young girl's figure. Dai Xingyue immediately pursued Su Xing's heavenly river star riding boat non-stop after receiving Shi Jingluan's command. Although she had delayed for a time along the way, Dai Xingyue was quite confident in her own speed, and Su Xing's flight artifact was honestly too eye-catching. Dai Xingyue used her innate skill at full power, even activating her dark techniques, flying smoke-scattered stars. Wherever she passed, the clouds parted, the stars dimmed, and her feet seemed to tread upon the sun and moon. Her speed was astounding. Under Dai Xingyue, there was a faint trail of haze. This was the light that Sun Xingyue's peacock emitted. Dai Xingyue seized this light like a robe, dragging Sun Xingyue along. She knew that she would have no way to return if she stopped the Purple Thunder monster by herself. A while later, Dai Xingyue already spotted the trail of purple clouds. Her expression was elated, waved her hand and called out, "Handsome guy in front of us, stop now, wait for me." Instead, the heavenly river star riding boat accelerated. "Be careful. This man may have some defenses," Sun Yueying ordered. "Watch Xingyue's earth rank." Dai Xingyue chuckled, her expression full of expectation. Magic Traveler leapt high, tearing off the haze. Then, the boots on her fair jade legs suddenly ignited. Dai Xingyue walked forwards on air. Instantly, she was above the heavenly river star riding boat. The girl's legs tread like a scorching sun, the formidable temperature surprisingly instantly vaporizing all objects in the surroundings, including the pervasive purple clouds. Dai Xingyue descended, stepping onto the heavenly river star riding boat. Although the flight artifact had a protective barrier, Dai Xingyue's earth rank, Sun Chaser, was too fierce. This step suddenly covered spread fireworks over 1,000 li, drying up the land, evaporating the seas, wilting the grass, and burning the forest. This was like the legendary Hanba, casting a drought over 1,000 li. Let alone a flight magic artifact, even the defensive magic weapon ability of the cultivators in 100 li were broken one by one, and they fled in a panic one after another. How could the power of the 5-star armor horse be contended against? There was a rumbling noise. Dai Xingyue's step surprisingly disintegrated the heavenly river star riding boat, shocking even the speed star. He could not have died like this. The Purple Thunder monster was, for better or for worse, a legendary monster. Dai Xingyue thought he could handle this earth rank. She never imagined there would be no resistance. Dai Xingyue did not feel much happiness. On the contrary, she was somewhat dismayed. Careful. Sun Yueying subsequently arrived in front of Dai Xingyue, her brow tightly wrinkled. Brave, ladies, where has your servant offended, you too? The dust cleared, and a compliant voice rang out. The legendary purple thunder monster was surprisingly so lowly. Dai Xingyue was very disappointed, she even had some adoration for this monster before. You are not the purple thunder monster. Who are you? Sun Yueying saw clearly the cultivator in front of her. His cultivation was merely supercluster stage, far away from the legendary supervoid monster. Your servant is Leisure in the Dark, a scattered cultivator. Fair ladies, please forgive your servant for whatever offense I may have committed. That cultivator swallowed hard, cautiously speaking. So you are not the purple thunder monster, then good. Dai Xinjiu happily said. She just knew that purple thunder monster could not have failed to bear a single blow, to bend over and curry favor. If he was to die, it should be in a massive battle with them, a heroic sacrifice. Wait, this artifact is clearly the purple thunder monster's, why are you using it? The man promptly explained. As it turned out, he was in the midst of hurrying somewhere when he bumped into a man who said he wanted him to fly this artifact towards the Azure Dragon territory, even imbuing the artifact with purple clouds. That man was at least supervoid middle stage cultivation. Leisure in the Dark did not dare disobey. Furthermore, he himself actually wanted to go to the Azure Dragon territory, so he did not mind at all. This artifact that he just obtained expanded Leisure in the Dark's horizons, and he wondered to himself if he had a stroke of luck, to surprisingly obtain such a high-level magic weapon. Along the way, he drew the admiring gazes of countless cultivators, making him quite pleased. He never imagined that he would only just sense the pursuing Dai Xingyue, ponder whether or not to stop, when she immediately set upon him with dark rank Sun Chaser. This nearly scared Leisure in the Dark to death, covering him in grime, though he survived. After hearing his story that had no falsehoods, a phrase emerged in Sun Yueying's mind, lure the tiger away. Ah, we were tricked. Dai Xingyue blinked, not angry, instead smiling in joy. Sun Yueying muttered, it seems this man sensed that we would raise our hand against him. What do we do now? He ought not have gotten too far. Xingyue, pursue immediately. Perhaps you can catch up. Sun Yueying thought. Su Xing's party had already gone through a major battle. To leave the Black Turtle territory, they could not possibly be as fast as Dai Xingyue. Although they were tricked, perhaps she could still reach them. Dai Xingyue nodded, stepping into the air and immediately vanishing into the horizon. The Leisure in the Dark who watched was unable to close his mouth. Hey, this is the legendary Speed Star. That speed is too fast. Yet Sun Yueying had guessed wrong. At this very moment, Su Xing, Xiyu, and the others were not heading in the direction of the Azure Dragon territory at all. Rather, after the handed Leisure in the Dark the Heavenly River Star riding boat, they instead hurried deeper into the Black Turtle territory. Their destination was the Immortals' Abode at Bra Island. Void Immortals' abodes were linked to each other. As long as he could enter the Immortals' Abode, he could reappear at the Four Styles School, saving enormously on time. Why are we specifically arranging such a ruse? Gu Tong asked skeptically. Can it be you feel we are in danger? Su Xing smiled, Proprietress, do you feel we are very safe? Are you afraid of the Devil Star Palace's reprisal? They should not be so quick, and this old lady does not feel anyone would dare provoke you right now. Gu Tong was convinced on this point. With even the Black Turtle territory's #1 devil ancestor dead, after the Heavenly Books phase, what idiot would think to face the Purple Thunder monster who had Lin Chong? That truly was the bane of longevity, a fool who had lived too long. Little Sister Tonger, the other devil sex perhaps will not, but there is one person who will always treat Xinger as a thorn in her side, who cannot help but itch to remove him. Chai Ling looked around gracefully. Queen Jingluan. Gu Tong's eyes were very conflicted. There was still a sister from the Spring Breeze Drunken Rain Pavilion following Qingci. If the two sides actually faced off against each other, she honestly did not know what to do. This is not the case. Su Xing consoled her, I just personally like to be on the careful side. Furthermore, we really should change from the Heavenly River Star riding boat to something bigger. Shi Jingluan is very smart. Even if she actually does raise her hand against me, I won't hate her. Su Xing shrugged. His last sentence was actually the truth. If the situation was reversed, taking action against a powerful enemy at his weakest was the perfect time to do so. Of course, despite not hating her, despite understanding her, if the situation truly came down to a life and death moment, he would not hold back. Gu Tong could only nod. Little sister Tonger, cheer up. This palace is very envious that he could defeat Devil Ancestor Dark Nether when you signed your contract. Chai Ling smiled. Upon mentioning this, Gu Tong desperately wanted to find a hole to hide herself in. Linger, do you still want some kind of magnificent scene before you are willing to sign a contract? Su Xing helplessly asked. Chai Ling hugged Xinger, loftily raising her brow. Of course, this is the Noble Star's first contract. This palace indeed cannot sign so arbitrarily. Sorry, Gu Tong apologetically said. No need to apologize. This palace is already satisfied by killing Devil Ancestor Dark Nether. If we had contracted, that actually would not be so perfect. Chai Ling said. Su Xing could not help but smile. In the end, Dai Xingyuan never intercepted Su Xing. Shi Jingluan had no choice but to declare her defeat in her plan for a showdown with Su Xing. After they returned to the Nine Dragons Palace, Sun Yueying mentioned Su Xing's diversion strategy. The palace master of the Nine Dragons Palace, Minute Star Queen Jingluan, had no choice but to sigh. On the surface, this man polite and amiable with them, sharing a brotherly sisterly address with Qingci, but in truth, he was actually very aware. However, Shi Jingluan was increasingly unable to see through him. Since he was already on guard against them, why did he not kill her at that time? With his capabilities, this ought to have been very easy. Whether it was because he had absolutely faith in his own power or because of his farce with Qingci, Shi Jingluan could not make a guess, nor did she want to venture a guess. The Jin Xiongyu who normally hated Su Xing to the bone could not help but stay silent upon learning of the events that transpired. Sun Yueying actually pensively asked if it was truly impossible to ally with him. Li Shuangfei indicated her approval, but the response she received was nevertheless very merciless. There was only one route for them up the mountain, getting rid of all star masters. Otherwise, they were all talk. After seeing Su Xing's thinking, Shi Jingluan actually began to sorry for Qingci a bit. On the last day of the heavenly books, Leader Star Protector of Righteousness Song Qingci finally awakened from her heavenly book dream. This leader star, who was the first in history to obtain heavenly books, had taken the full 30 days to comprehend them, surpassing any other star general, but the truth was that Song Qingci had already received her 3 heavenly books on the 3rd day. The time thereafter was spent listening to the Xuannü of 9th Heaven sermon. Xuannü of 9th Heaven. She honestly loves to waste time. Xuang Yunxiang yawned, not terribly interested this so-called Xuannü of 9th Heaven. Ugly Prince Consort was defeated in her former volume Heavenly Book, and to be defeated by Su Xing in the battle for the Qilin as well, her mood was very poor. Is a sermon useful? It would be better for her to help you climb the mountain, elder sister Qingci. We have been humiliated by Su Xing this time. Xian Yunxiang removed her ugly mask, pecking the lips on her mask. What happened? Song Qingci was startled. Why would Lord Su humiliate us? Do not listen to Yunxiang. Shi Jingluan glanced at her, merely summarizing recent events. Qingci, you listened to the Xuannü of 9th Heaven sermon. You must have comprehended something. Did she mention anything about the star duels? Song Qingci shook her head. She actually spoke nothing of this. However, Xuannü of 9th Heaven has acknowledged your servant's intent for the uprising. She will confer upon each of your servant's uprising sisters 1 former volume heavenly book. Elder sister, what did you say? All of the women exclaimed in shock. Liked it? Elder sister, what does this mean? Wang Qingji asked in astonishment. Everyone will receive a heavenly book. Could there be such a good thing? Everyone knew that the heavenly books were the supreme treasures of star generals for the final phase of the star duels. Even some of the best heavenly did not necessarily obtain them at times. The worth of a heavenly book to a star general went without saying. Now, hearing that each of the sisters in the uprising could obtain a volume, even Li Longkue, that rigid black whirlwind, wrinkled her brow, showing slight skepticism. Can we really obtain the heavenly books again? Xian Yunshang restrained the surprise in her heart. Song Qingci nodded. She had no reason to deceive them. Little sister, watch. Song Qingci concentrated on Wang Jingji. Motioning with her hand, the star crest on her forehead flickered and flowed into Wang Jingji's forehead. Clear light twinkled, like a star, and Wang Jingji was taken aback. The star crest on her forehead glowed at the same time, pulsating. The girl's eyes suddenly glowed, and living goddess of lightning turned her hand over. Immediately, a golden heavenly book appeared in her hand. Astonishingly, it was a former volume heavenly book. I actually received a heavenly book. Wang Jingji did not dare believe the truth before her eyes. Star generals like her that were ranked towards the end did not raise their hopes for a heavenly book. She never imagined that she herself would one day unexpectedly personally obtain a former volume heavenly book. To have followed elder sister truly is too good. Wang Jingji's eyes filled with tears of happiness. All of the girls knowingly smiled. Not only this, even those who had already received a former volume heavenly book may obtain one as well. So long as your servant resonates with the sisters. Song Qingci turned her gaze to Shi Jingluan and Xian Yunshang. Can we actually receive one? Xian Yunshang was somewhat interested, but upon recalling that the uprising would have no way back from this point, her heart was somewhat uneasy. Yunshang, now that matters have reached this point, can it be you are still hoping that the purple thunder monster will help us? Shi Jingluan saw through ugly prince consort's thinking, completely aloof. We can only count on ourselves for our own destiny, Yunshang. You would never hesitate like this before. Queen is correct. Xian Yunshang nodded. If this is the case, then our heavenly books will drastically increase. Jin Qionyu's whole body quivered in excitement. The previous Wusong used a mere 3 former volume heavenly books to forge a 9-star destined weapon that shook the entire Liangshan continent. If Queen Jingluan has a dozen, then Su Xing, we need not fear him. Song Qingci looked at her, not replying. Never thought there would surprisingly be such a benefit to elder sister's uprising. Looks like these star generals are in elder sister's hands. Li Longkue said in a low voice. Black Whirlwind's words finally lifted the oppressive atmosphere from the purple thunder monster. Since the leader star's uprising had this kind of capability, it demonstrated that Xuannü of 9th heaven stood on their side. That purple thunder monster need not be mentioned. However, we cannot be careless. That Su Xing has contracted with a dozen of our sisters. Each of them are top-notch heavenly stars. His heavenly books will probably be numerous. Shi Jingluan doused everyone's excitement. 9 tattooed dragons stared at Song Qingci and asked, how will you prepare for what is next, Qingci? Song Qingci understood her intent. Even if your servant's body is to fall apart, your servant will help the sisters end these star duels. Shi Jingluan nodded. Next would be arrangements for the actual 7 stars assembly. After the heavenly books phase, they would refine those books. After 7 days, all star generals would instinctively set out for Maiden Mountain. At this time, the last 7 star masters that could scale Maiden Mountain would become the finalists for the 7 stars assembly. The previous star duels were all like this. However, a mishap nevertheless occurred in the 8th star duels. The 8th harm star Wusong used her 9-star destined weapon to sweep away all star masters, becoming the lone surviving star general. But some records showed that this powerful star general did not scale the peak. And this now placed in front of Song Qingci and the others a question. The 9th star duels were the first to show the uprising. If Song Qingci wanted to climb Maiden Mountain's peak, then she would necessarily exterminate all star generals as with the 8th star duels, to end the contracts of all star generals. So you must get rid of your Lord Su. Song Qingci was silent in slight distress. A while after, she recovered her normal expression. Your servant now has some matters for the sisters to complete. Elder sister, please do not hesitate to command us. All of the girls spoke at the same time. Having received Song Qingci's second round of heavenly books, they had unprecedented unity. Song Qingci began to show the face of the leader star, chief of Maiden Mountain's 108 star maidens. First, have Xuannü retrieve Lu Xiao. We must not be without her if we are to end the star duels. But I fear she shares a somewhat uncertain relationship with Su Xing. Shi Jinglun wrinkled her brow. She naturally knew that the Strength Star's strongest martial force could bring them enormous help, but she had been saved by Su Xing not too long ago. It would perhaps be very difficult to rope her in. Song Qingci slightly smiled, a countermeasure already in mind. So your servant must still wrong little sisters. Your servant has decided to send 3 former volume heavenly books to Lu Xiao. This will convince her to join the uprising. Lu Xiao only wants to ascend by herself to show that the Jade Qilin's abilities are the same as the Harm Star. Lord Su is probably the person she wants to defeat the most. With Jade Qilin's personality, she will not take action against us either. We only need to borrow her martial force to defeat Lin Chong and Wu Song. Xian Yunshang was pensive. Precisely. But even if Lu Xiao refined her star weapon to 9 star, she cannot possibly face the Purple Thunder monster so easily on her own. Xian Yunshang asked, doubtful. Su Xing's top-notch heavenly stars honestly were too numerous. He himself had capabilities that were too abnormal. Add on the support of his own heavenly books, Jade Qilin would be very hard-pressed. So your servant must have a second method. Song Qingci then said. Your servant will need Tianya to take action for this, to distribute those supreme-grade magic weapons to Yan Wudao, Xie Zhenyuan, and Lady Snake Scorpion, the star masters that the Purple Thunder monster has made enemies of. Song Qingci said. In the coming 7 Stars Assembly, these Star Masters know that Lord Su's power is formidable, so they will inevitably unite. We must help them strengthen themselves enough to pose a threat to Su Xing. To have the Star Masters slaughter each other, I like this method. Xian Yuanshang laughed. Afterwards, we must count on ourselves. Song Qingci sighed. Since elder sister has already planned so, we will not disappoint you. Sun Yueying said. All of the girls nodded, feeling this plan could work. But there is a weakness. Shi Jingluan calmly interjected, the others may not, but that Purple Thunder monster knows of your existence, Qingci. He is very cunning, and he has the knowledge star for counsel. The converse is possible, and they may possibly raise a hand against us first. After all, she was a star general. Furthermore, she was the leader star that led an unprecedented uprising. If Su Xing was to expose Qingci's identity to everyone, any star master would understand what this signified. He will not. Song Qingci's voice was very gentle, yet very firm. Shi Jingluan did not understand very well where her confidence came from. Song Qingci nevertheless knew that the reason for her confidence was both very simple and very painstaking. In 6 words, use trust to commit a betrayal. Liked it?